Thank you very much, Lounge, and welcome back to the LCS, everybody. Our first series of the day here went the distance between C9 and FlyQuest, going all 3 games, and now it's time for Team Liquid to go head-to-head with LYON and see who's going to prevail, the 5-0 versus the 4-1. I feel like this one could go either way. I'm Captain Flowers, that's Kobe, that's Azael, and you'll be joining us for the entire journey that I also hope will be 3 games.
I'm glad that APA is thinking of the storylines, you know, for the upcoming match. He wants this 6-0 teams to play each other as well. That's the angle here. Wants TL at full power. But honestly, a lot of people looking towards LYON. That is the bigger story, of course, with them signing Castle at the last day before the trade deadline and then still playing Big Dokes.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit surprising to me as well, but of course it would take some time to maybe adapt to that system, and they could play Castle in game 2. But I want to say the biggest story for me today is Jose and Inspired meeting up, the #1 and #2 MVP candidates, in my opinion, for this split. And you already know when you are going to be matching up in a series like this directly against each other towards the end of the split, that is going to change people's hearts and minds on who is the better jungler this split.
It's going to have so much weight. We already know that there's much more heavy weight on games towards the end of a split versus the beginning.
Triple ban on Jose.
And having it be the head-to-head only makes it that much more intense. Triple ban against Jose, like you're saying, popular long-range ganking junglers like the Pantheon and the Nocturne alongside his trademark Lee Sin. Over on the other side, much more standard, just high-power tier list bans of the Varus, Bard, and Orianna banned out by TL.
Yeah, and it of course is going to mean that you have the Ezreal Karma options up on the bottom side. You have the Ashe Seraphine, and so generally, even with the nerfs to Karma, the Ezreal Karma still has had so much success versus the Ashe Seraphine. It's one of the main lanes that has had that success, and so LYON say, fine, you know what? Berserker Isles, this is going to be a very key lane for us for victory. So we're going to lock the Karma preemptively, expecting that you Ashe Seraphine. But literally, we had Spawn, after the first time they had an Ashe Seraphine comp, it was like Ashe Seraphine, Ornn, and Yone, and he was like, yeah, they gave us 4 out of 5 of our best champions. We didn't even have to do much. So TL very confident in this and very, very confident in piloting these style comps.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really exciting, and I feel like a lot of the talk has been about Berserker and Isles being the best bot lane in the league. LYON and Core, well, LYON wasn't really looking like himself towards the start of the split, but I feel like this last couple weeks he has been on fire, and I feel like these 2 bot lanes are the 2 current best in the league right now matching up against each other. So it is going to be exciting to see with that top level competition how it will go. Jarvan obviously makes a lot of sense for Inspired. You have 2 low mobility carries down to that bot lane. Generally you see, either Pantheon or Jarvan or something like that. You want to have the ability to gank and to attack these carries, and Inspired's going to be able to grab one.
Yeah, jungle is one part of that, and then oftentimes too, we'll see even mid lane picks tend towards that, towards like Akali and stuff like that, to try and get assassination picks to take advantage of, when Seraphine and Ashe do not have their flashes. So we'll see how, dive and attack oriented LYON want to get. Since Ezreal Karma is long range and is poke, you can go a couple ways with it.
And despite those 3 bans against Jose Diodo here in the first half of the draft, he's still going to find a very powerful pick for himself in the Xin Zhao. It's not like you can take everything from the top of the table off in game #1, so they wanted to eliminate the signature pick alongside the 2 big long-range junglers to help the bottom lane. But still, getting the Xin, Jose will be happy with.
Yeah, I mean, it's been one of his best performing champions as well. He's performed, extremely well this whole split, obviously. But the Xin, he's had some huge games too, and Xin is perfect with Seraphine, because your ult can buy time that you can always get into a good position for Seraphine to bounce her ult off your head and get the extra range, because you can buy so much time with the Xin ult. So, TL, as you said, Flowers, definitely not too unhappy with all the jungle-focused bans.
Yeah, not going to be unhappy about that at all, but it is an interesting strategy if you go forward and maintain these bans, because when you look at his most played champions, the top 4 is Pantheon, Xin, Lee Sin, and Jarvan, right? So 2 of the top 4 now are going to be banned by Fearless. If you maintain these other bans, you are pushing them down the table quite a bit, and it's an interesting strategy, because if you feel like, hey, Jose really is standout on these top picks and maybe a little bit weaker on the bottom ones, then maybe that's something you can exploit going into a game 2 or a potential game 3.
And as we're looking at the second half of the bans come through here, solo lane's the name of the game for both sides, since we still need top laners and mid laners for both teams, with top lane taking most of the focus here. Team Liquid going to ban out 2 of the powerful AP carry top laners specifically. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. It means you want to play some big meatball with Rumble and Gwen banned away. Over on the other side, they ban Ryze, as well as one of the signature meatballs of League of Legends in the Sion.
Yeah, and as we said, you know, a couple of times they have played the Ornn to slot in here for Morgan, so you get that long range engage. And like when you have the Ashe and the Seraphine and some sort of top lane tank with another form of engage, your team fights are just so simplistic. It's very easy. And then you just need some burst damage from, there you go, from Quid. And Aurora, definitely some pretty big follow-up and flank opportunities as well.
Of course, you know, Morgan doesn't want to just blind Ornn with Dokla being over on the other side. Could be a Vayne answer, could be, you know, a number of these different counter picks that Dokla is willing to go into. So that's why they're throwing out the Aurora, which could, of course, be a flex between mid and top based on the matchups.
Exactly. Keep them guessing. Little flex pick goes a long way.
But I don't believe them. I think Morgan's playing a tank. They need engage.
Isles is yawning at it too. He doesn't believe. Not fooling him. All right, so with the Twisted Fate, this is another tool that you can use to get summoner spells off of Ashe Seraphine. It's again, we were talking about, the Jarvan, you can punish low mobility carries for the bottom lane. Same thing with mid picks. And Twisted Fate is one of those that can punish in the the early stages. Oftentimes when you pick Twisted Fate as well, you want to carry top laner so you can keep them guessing whether you're going bottom lane or going top lane and have your choice.
I don't know if they would do it. I mean, some of the responses that become pretty standard against things like TF, people really like Jax for Counter-Strike, be able to avoid the gold card. But I also think Malphite goes pretty hard in a comp like this. Gragas is much safer if they want to go that option, but I feel like Malphite is such a good matchup into Jace. You know, you have a low mobility mid laner and top laner. Instead, it is going to be Gragas. This is a matchup we've seen come out a couple times in the last weeks. People are just playing a lot of Comet Gragas, and it's an okay answer into a lot of these ranged matchups, such as the Jace. And if your jungler gets up there, you have great gank assist. You can punish champions like the Jace, like the TF, like the Karma. Of course, Ezreal has the ability to potentially buffer the shift on your body slam, but some explosive engage now between the Ashe and that Gragas.
Man, I don't know. I like the Lion side. I think they did accomplishment. Like you have pushing lanes for both top and bottom, so you can keep them guessing which one you're going to. You have lots of pressure with both Jarvan and Twisted Fate. The question is, if you make a mistake and you give up kills, you give up momentum and gold in the game to this Team Liquid team, that team fight is insane.
It is funny, though, because I feel like if Castle was playing, I would actually believe in this comp more. I just don't see Dokla as a dominant Jace player. His laning phase has been his weakness, and I feel like you need to be that point of power that you want to play towards in the side lane. And I think for Dokla, it's been more about his team fighting, less about his 1v1s. So I'll be interested to see if he can prove me wrong in this one.
Exactly. This is his day to prove everyone wrong. You know, they just signed Castle at the end of the trade deadline, and yet he is still starting here. Dokla is still standing. So there's a lot of extra pressure on this match. Makes it even more hype. He has a lot to prove.
This Lion comp to me, boys, looks like an FF20 comp one way or the other. You either dominate your lanes, you slam the enemy team, and they just want to get out and go next, or it doesn't work out, you lose those early kills like you're talking about, and then all of a sudden, what do you do against this team fighting? Yeah,
I mean, it is interesting. Obviously, you know, when you think of TF, you think of playing to those side lanes, but you also do have some really strong poke, and once you're on a couple items and you have a rapid fire, you walk forward, you gold card anyone, they get hit by True Shot Barrage, by a Mystic Shot, they get hit by a Shock Blast. There's a lot of follow-up on that to poke people down. Also worth noting, Morgan is playing Grasp, which surprises me quite a bit in this melee versus range matchup. Mostly people do play Comet. Of course, you can sometimes, if he goes Hammer form, get in there and get a nice little trade, and it's probably going to be a body slam start here and just try to get a bit down there onto Dokla.
Yeah, trades exchanged. It also is going to put more pressure in the later stages towards those team fights on the initiation of the Ashe and the Gragas. Because if you let the poke team, aka Lion, who have Jace, Ezreal, and Karma, poke you down, as bottom lane is getting poked down a little bit here, if you let them poke you down ahead of time, then your status, even as a team fighting, you know, quote-unquote 5-on-5 team, is going to be way less favorable. So you have to jump on these opportunities. You have to have good vision control. You have to make good timings on your Ashe arrows and good plays with your snap engage from a Gragas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when your team is getting poked down, it puts so much pressure on you to engage quickly. You feel like, I gotta go, we're losing health. And then if you rush it and you fail your engage, then all of a sudden you're gold carded up and you're just killed off easy on the other side. So definitely going to be a high-pressure game, I feel like, for Morgan.
Yeah, I mean, poke comps versus engage is always one of my favorite because there is so much pressure.
All right, well, as we trade back and forth in the lanes here early on, Raz is live with Lions coach Rigby to discuss the decision to start Dokla in the top lane today.
That's right, I got Rigby with me. So you conducted the NA Men interview in which you talked about it. Oh, it seems like there's a lot happening here. You did talk about the 6-man roster and that you were kind of low-key opposed to the idea. What has the process been like, being able to kind of manage it and, of course, deciding to have Dokla start this week with it?
I mean, I wasn't opposed to like 6-men. I was like 4 6-men, not like just changing in general. Yeah. So I'm really glad to work with like 2 different top laners who have like different strengths. But like we just chose Dokla for this week as like game 1 because like we have like own plans of like winning the game, and then like Nishib is like definitely more aligned with it than Castle, so that's why he was chose for game 1. It's for strategic reason, and then I'm sure it's gonna like go that way until like the split is over. So yeah, that's why we chose Nisha for game 1, and then I'm enjoying it right now.
That's awesome. If you can expand on the strengths and weaknesses that you see in Dokla and of course from Castle.
I mean, for Nishib, like when he is ahead or he's comfortable in the game, like his decision making is like a veteran. And then he's like such a calm person or like chill person to like play the game with. So he gets control of the team well when we're like too hyped or something. So that's like the strengths of Dokla. And then for Castle, his laning, right? But in terms of his laning, like I haven't had experience with him throughout the whole split. So regarding like champ people and stuff, like he definitely has like champ that he excels on. So we're gonna like keep looking to it. Like it's not just for this game, it's gonna be for playoffs and then in scrims too. So we're just gonna look for as much as option as possible right now.
Thanks a ton for that. A lot of action happening here, so you can go back and check this game out. I'm gonna send this one straight back to the casters. Thanks a ton.
All right, thank you very much, fellas. As bottom lane is getting spicy. CoreJJ forced to flash away. Berserker's ready for the flash follow. It's first blood and make it a 2-for-1 deal for the Lion bottom lane.
The Ezreal Karma reigns supreme again, and it is Berserker Isles saying, yes, we are the best bottom lane in the LCS.
Yeah, that was really nicely played there by Berserker and Isles, slowly whittling them down and then just finding their moment here. LYON and Core really wanted to reset. Isles had nice timing on that Q, hit LYON right as he was walking up to last hit on that wave, and then the tether lands, and they just full send it. Core is trying to push Berserker back to keep him away from LYON, who is getting tethered up.
Should just leave it, I guess.
Yeah, should have just reset earlier, but you know they thought that they had the ability to push it in. Core took too much damage and didn't even use his heal going down there, which is pretty costly. If he got that heal off, was it still on cooldown from earlier?
It might have been.
I'm gonna double check.
Okay, all right. You go back and check that one. We're gonna see where everything else
It was
is
still
right
on
now.
cooldown from earlier.
Okay.
LYON, though, both summoner spells for him as well. Now, Berserker and Isles, of course, they both did flash to make that play, but well worth it. You get control of the bottom lane. You can keep pushing. Inspired says, perfect. I'll start up the dragon. We can channel this, strength into objectives as well.
Exactly. Neither one of the junglers have been getting involved with anything so far. We saw them both starting on the top half of the map, doing their full clears down towards the bottom side. And now with the dragon being started up by Inspired, Jose Diodo is looking for a potential lane gank up here in the top lane. No contest for this bottom side objective. Jose walking over the ward now with the sweeper is going to let LYON know that he's up here.
And I was watching Dokla in lane that whole time. He was playing so far back. He never even went into melee form. He knows they're not contesting dragon. They will be looking for me up here. But now, maybe going to be able to get aggressive.
Meanwhile, Dokla looking for the solo kill up here in the top side. Brings Morgan down to 100 HP. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, it's Inspired and Saint both coming in. The 4v2 play. They know the summoner spells aren't there from the previous 2v2 kill. Saint stays alive. LYON's already gone. And CoreJJ, surely not long for this world, but he takes Isles with them. Nice use of the high note there at the very end to at least get something back, but it's still LYON coming out on top.
Coming out on top by a mile. Berserker has gotten 2 kills, 2 assists this early on, and Dokla just pushed back Morgan after surviving being weak side up there for a little bit. Knew there was a dangerous window. As soon as Jose clears out that ward and is back to clearing, he pushes Morgan back, forces him to base, takes a plate, gets a good reset, and you're winning on the other side of the map.
Yeah.
That is perfect.
Both aggressive sides here for LYON, finding some success. So Inspired goes with the ult, and then EQ here over to LYON. They're tanking, and then, as you say, Isles kind of walks back close enough for the counter kill. Obviously, you kind of want that.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Not bad. Not the worst. Not bad, not bad.
Nice,
Yeah.
not bad, not the worst.
Yeah, see, there's two perspectives. I'm like, oh yeah, LYON. Obviously, they want Isles to stick around close enough for allowing them to get a counter kill. But Teal's like, oh, nice, not that bad then, not as bad.
2v4, got a kill.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Team Liquid. It is still a pretty dire situation here for them in Emily Rand's match of the week.
Not
here.
yours, not
Yeah,
mine.
definitely not.
This
Anyone
is Emily
else?
Rand's match of the week, and don't you even try to claim it. It's hers, okay?
I mean, we've already got 5 kills in the first 7 minutes here. I'm feeling like Emily's off to a good start.
Good job, Emily.
Yeah, she called it first.
Yep, she's got dibs. But you know what I've got dibs on?
What's that?
This graphic to talk about. Oh, wait.
Okay.
Holy.
All right. What kind of a graphic you got for us?
Azale's graphic of the week.
Oh, we got a
Hold
solo kill.
on. We have Dokla trying to get away here as Morgan goes in for the solo. Bolo bangs him on the head with the keg, and he's out of there. Dokla might have gotten close to getting the solo kills earlier, but it's Morgan who ultimately triumphs.
That's tough.
Azale's distraction of the week.
Yeah, that's tough.
Oh no.
That's tough for Dokla. I mean, and now, you know, it was looking good for him in the early levels, but getting solo killed there and losing your flash.
Meanwhile, nice arrow coming out from LYON. They fully layer the CC with Core JJ, and as soon as Jose Dioto shows up, there's no way for Isles to escape from that one. Nice play in the top lane from Morgan, followed up by a nice play started by LYON here in the bottom lane, brings things really back in Team Liquid's favor.
I mean, this is just the inverse of the last play, right? LYON won out on both sides. Now TL wins out on both sides. Jose even committed his W flash there to try to get it. So I want to see how this happens one more time as Dokla is just taking a little bit of a trade, decides he's going to go in for it, but the cask is ready, and because the previous body slam hit, you get that cooldown refund, and Dokla realizes that this is not going his way, flashes away from the barrel, but then Morgan has his flash up, so W flash finishes him off, easy peasy, and you can see a bit of frustration there on Dokla's face. When a matchup like this starts going bad, it generally does not really get better.
Yeah, I really like it from Morgan. You know, he chooses the position in lane for the trade really nicely, so he knows if Dokla tries to trade back on him, he's going to have plenty of room to chase down with the ult, but here we go over the last scrubs. Looks like Inspire will just slip out. We don't actually get a fight over it. But I just, you know, I like that choice from Morgan because either you get a favorable trade, or if Dokla tries to go in on you in hammer form, then you have an easy ultimate. You can, like, point blank, it's really easy guarantee to be able to hit a good Gragas ulti there to push him back and have the chase down distance.
So I want to get back to the jungle talk because these guys have both been absolutely smurfing. And even in this game, Inspire goes bot, gets a kill. Jose goes bot, gets a kill. It is going to be a battle between these two. Most people I've been talking to do see these two as the top 2 potential MVP candidates. And
Gotta
we
talk
finally...
to Cloud9 plans.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I guess so. You know, these guys have just been smurfing, right? I think C9 has great candidates in Thanatos and Vulcan. They've both been incredible as well. But most people are looking at these two, and they have been killing it. And now we get them head-to-head in an important match here, and it could decide a lot. This is what the chat voted on when we talked about this in waiting room. Obviously, Jose, extremely popular player, but did dominate the fan vote in chat during waiting room for who they thought was MVP. And, you know, depending on how this series is going, maybe we'll go back to chat and ask them if they want to update those votes.
So the thing that I'm looking at right now is we did have both of our bot lane duos rotate up into the top side briefly, but now that we have the next dragon about to spawn, top laners have repositioned themselves back in their home, the bot laners are back home down here, Berserker's still got an over 1,000 individual gold lead, and LYON hits another clutch arrow. Dokla, the victim of the accuracy there from the Team Liquid AD carry, and that means TL's going to tie this one up at 4-4. They take out the enemy top lane right in time for the dragon to spawn.
I think people of every lane and every position hate Ashe Seraphine. It's not just bottom laners. They're like, no, the enemy's got Ashe Seraphine. Junglers hate her.
Something we can all agree on.
Yeah, mid laners hate him. Ashe Arrow is okay, the dragon, though. Let's see about the follow-up, because Dokla doesn't have teleport when he revives, so he would have to come all the way from base.
Yeah, and you can see Saint's trying to run down here to be at a distance where he could possibly ult in, but Morgan is following him to interrupt that if he tries to use that ulti. So both of them are going to walk down, arrive around the same time. The Drake is already at about 2,000 HP. LYON is still down towards bottom lane. Inspired goes in for the engage on Josedioto, who has already secured the Drake here for his team. LYON trying to find a pinch from assault as Josedioto stays alive for now. Inspired still somehow tanking as Jose falls, but the junglers are both out of the picture. Morgan's in the middle of everybody, and LYON's looking to burn him down. They find it. Berserker goes on a killing spree as Quid tries to go in, but he doesn't have the damage. He seals his own fate instead, and LYON comes out on top.
The Inspire shield there coming down from Isles as Quid flashed forward, prevented him from getting that kill and getting the reset, so he couldn't go back into the invis with the across the veil, ends up going down. But I feel like it was crazy for TL to take that fight. LYON was so separated from the team, he couldn't really get involved.
And now Berserker might just die underneath the turret, flashes away there at the very end, survives with what looked like about 30 HP, as he did get caught by LYON and Core JJ, so a summoner spell there, but still, even though Jose got the Drake for Team Liquid, LYON's gonna be much happier about the outcome of fight. Berserker just barely with the arcane shift in time to get away from the arrow.
Ooh, I like that. That would be a stylish kill too if it was, if it was the arrow, but Berserker reacts in time. Spawn definitely, you know, head in hands there.
Come Jace, come Jace. I wanna go on Zinson.
Okay.
Can you ult?
I'm ready to 들어가.
I'm looking Jin,
I
guys.
look around,
Look
look
Jin.
in. Aura, you doing anything?
Yeah. Looks
Okay,
good.
I have a turn.
I'm looking Gragas first.
Okay.
I don't know
Do
what they
under,
have.
after.
Look, what?
Can you go?
He
I have
doubled in.
flash.
No flash.
Nice, I'll go mid. Oh, I can carry, guys.
Nice.
Berserker reassuring everyone, I can carry, guys. 3-0-4 on the Ezreal. Very, very powerful here. The best thing I think I liked about that replay, though, and the comms listen in, is that previously we have had some moments where LYON has made mistakes where they are not on the same page, but they waited just till Dokla ran back into range to join the fight, but still before LYON, as you say, was fully there for Team Liquid. So it's very good timing, and Inspired's like, I will be looking for Xin. And then as soon as Dokla gets there, they go in, they get a big health lead on the initiation, and even though they lose out on the smite on the dragon, they win out on the fight.
Yeah, I mean, LYON just couldn't connect with his front line. I mean, when Morgan's going on the engage, LYON is so far away. I feel like TL just needed to accept that their setup was bad for that fight and just not really go for it, but decided to try to force it, and LYON did try to kind of run his way through the LYON team to get up there, but just were never really connected. So great calls from LYON, and as you expect, Inspired calling it out in that team fight.
Saint could be in some danger down here in the bottom lane, though. Immediately, Quid goes between worlds, tries to slow him down a little bit, but Josedioto is not there to follow up in time, so Saint is going to stay pretty safe. And with the Aurora ulti down now and the Rift Herald about to spawn in 15 seconds, LYON could see this as an opportunity to go for that neutral objective from an advantageous state.
Yeah, getting some resets here for TL on the bottom side, and then LYON opened up to push here. I mean, we're still open for first tower bonus too, and generally you want to play these, you want to play any comp from ahead, obviously, but especially these types of comps, where you're drafting TF and you're drafting, some pushing lanes on both sides, and you want to have poke damage so that you can take down the outer towers first, more room for TF to work with, but also keep up the siege pressure here. I mean, the poke from Berserker is going to hit very, very hard.
I mean, just look at Saint and Berserker. Their gold leads are huge at this point in the game as Quid takes a big chunk there from Dokla. Still does not have his ultimate back. And yeah, that team fight really put the gold exactly where LYON would want it. It's already 2 items done here at 15 minutes for Saint. That is super fast. Has the Lich being completed. You have to think the Rapid Fire is probably coming in next. And then it's kind of like I talked about in draft. You don't necessarily have to just play side lanes or look for these crazy picks. You just gold card whatever is in front of you, and everyone shoots their poke at them, and they lose half their health.
Poke, 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 poke. See if they can get it. Also, you're very safe in mid lane. I love Mikhail's Rush versus Ashe Seraphine always from my supports. So Isles will be there for plenty of safety. In addition to a cleanse, you have just so many answers to the engage from Team Liquid. And just got to keep your eyes on Gragas. Morgan definitely can be a big difference maker. He's had a very good Gragas game so far for the team. But you're going to have to, come up with some pretty good surprise plays.
Looks like LYON is not even going to contest the Rift Herald here. It's Team Liquid taking the opportunity to use the control over the top side of the map that they have to just guarantee that objective. And like you already mentioned, there's only one turret taken so far in this game now, so plenty of chances to use that one as the arrow gets sidestepped. The Seraphine Encore does not. Saint staying alive for now, tries to get away, and will successfully use the ulti to get out after enduring the enemy CC that could have interrupted it.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the 2 items. He's got 4 stacks on his rod already, fairly tanky, just kind of absorbs the damage, and good awareness. You know, Rift Herald's coming, I'm gonna get dove here, so just ult his way on out. After that Seraphine ulti was used. Good kind of weak side, Twisted Fate escape from Saint while his jungler picks up the dragon. This one uncontested, so a much easier smite.
Yeah.
And you just keep your pressure up. He immediately teleports the Twisted Fate down to the bottom lane, as you just saw. He pushes that bottom wave in. Berserker had full mid lane priority pushing this one in, and so LYON are playing this kind of checking all the boxes that you want to keep up. Start with the early lead, keep that pressure up.
And now Berserker with the Manamune completed, almost doesn't evolve into the Muramana. There's the gold card as they full send it after LYON. They need a little bit more damage to seal the deal. The Cataclysm is committed. Inspired also flashing away to guarantee there's no real effective counterpunch coming out from TL. But nice killer instinct from LYON to find a pick on the enemy AD carry through both summoner spells. All the meanwhile, Dokla is also taking the tier 1 turret top.
I mean, they spent a lot to get the kill, but they got that kill. That was double flash, that was multiple ultimates, that is everything in the kitchen sink just thrown at LYON. But now LYON is going to have to play this next team fight without a flash, which is so difficult to do when you are playing Ashe into a champion like Jarvan. You know, even if you can just Cataclysm and flag and drag out, you can just leave that guy locked in there while you play the rest of the fight.
I just love this so far from LYON. They're playing to their win cons really effectively, keeping up high pressure in side lanes on all of the lanes, then making the rotation. Saint here, a really good Twisted Fate play, you know, getting the gold card, flashing in, investing the summer spells on a good timing after he had teleported to bottom side, after he had avoided the play on the top side. I just think LYON, they're doing the necessary things to keep up the pressure and increase this gold lead at a very good rate for themselves.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job. Saint also, I love the Swift March in a game like this. There's so many slows over on the other side. And I think a lot of people forget how offensively good they can be as well. It's 22 adaptive force he already has from those boots. You get more based on your move speed. That's more than an amp tome worth of AP already this early in the game.
Just on your shoes. Up 1.7 thousand gold there in the mid lane for Saint. Nearly a 3,000 individual gold lead for Berserker. Back at the end of draft, I said that LYON's comp is an FF20 comp. Either they want to surrender because you're so far ahead, or you want to surrender because the lanes didn't go your way. 5,500 gold lead. 30 seconds before 20 minutes into the game.
That's pretty good.
Yep. If I'm on the other team, I'm like, is everybody ready to vote yet? Or how are we feeling about this one? Because LYON is dominating.
I think Morgan says, give me a chance at making a play. You know, maybe some Gragas flank play with a flash, you know, a body slam and an ult combination to try and break up the power here. They did get the 1 dragon early. So they did kind of stall out a bit, buy themselves some time, even though that fight obviously cost them a lot of gold, some golden kills. So they're thinking maybe we can get our 1 really good play. You have to have like a very quick and sneak attack play, some sort of flank here. But it gets really, really insanely difficult once you get the rapid fire on Twisted Fate. He doesn't have to have flash for those gold card plays because he'll just have Swift March and run at you with the extra range of rapid fire. And
Karma shields for speed up too.
It's really, really you know, difficult once they get to this break point here. So there is a lot of pressure on TL.
There really is. I mean, it's also interesting to note from Morgan, he is not going AP at all. This is just pure tank Gragas. So, you know, he is going Iceborne, and he did actually skip Q. So this is something we talked about on the dive with the W buff. I was theory crafting, hey, maybe you could actually just go tank Gragas and put points in W early, because at max rank W, which he has, it's 8% more flat damage reduction than the previous Gragas. So I think it's actually interesting to see that experiment coming through, because we have seen Fimbulwinter plus Roa, we've seen Roa plus Archangels. Now this is just full tank with actual 5 points in W early on.
Yep, he knows. I got to get in there, and I got to get a good angle so I can cast effectively to get kills back for the rest of my team. You know, ideally you get him and Quid on flanks, and we'll see if TL can actually set up the dream team fight. But LYON here, I mean, 3 items Berserker already. The Endless Hunger feels so good for him. It's it really does look good for them. I mean, it's hard to track Ezreal already, but we mentioned the Mikhails plus the cleanse, so let's see if they can actually end it out. It is very fun to see the teams at the top of the table, Flowers, here performing.
And now they're about to perform yet again for a Drake. For LYON, this will bring them to Soul Point if they can claim it. For TL, they would love to just buy themselves even more time. But taking a fight in open ground over one of these neutral objectives, when you're 5,500 gold down 22 minutes into the game, it's a really scary proposition.
It is. And Saint, I think he's going to base and have his rapid fire. He's going to be on 3 items, and Berserker's going to be on 3 items. If I'm TL, I want nothing to do with this dragon. I think you will get slammed if you show up and try to fight this one. So I expect them to be out of there. And there is that completed rapid fire. Roa is about to tick to 10. Yeah, TL have no business going for this one, and they know it.
Roa is about to tick to 10, and Saint is about to hit level 15 naturally. So then that'll be level 16 instant on the TF. Just, there's all sorts of nightmare material here for TL. They don't want anything to do with it. They will just concede the objective. So LYON are going to move the Soul Point 22.5 minutes into the game. That means at the 27:30 mark, the pressure will be on for TL to stop LYON somehow at this neutral. How do we get there for a TL squad that's now 5,000 gold behind and has been for the last 5 minutes?
I mean, they're just going to, until the moment, try and lose as little as possible. And try and not give up too much vision around Baron. This LYON team has a lot of damage. They could, try and make some Baron plays. So give up as little as possible. Maybe you can make some vision plays. It's hard when enemy has TF, though.
Okay, Jose finds a little damage onto Berserker, but Berserker gets even more back. Nobody's going to full commit for anything here.
I mean, I think it's going to be the same story that Kobe was already talking about earlier, where it's just the engage from Morgan. It's the follow-up CC. It's looking bad, it's looking bad, it's looking bad, but then you knock in 2 of these carries, they get comboed, and all of a sudden they are 100-0'd with the Crystal Arrow, with the Encore, with all the CC coming over the top. So there is always that possibility because of the playmaking that TL has, but really you get one more dragon fight, because if you are this far behind and you lose Mountain Soul, your explosive engage is not going to kill them through everything there.
Ooh, and there's the gold card onto Jose Diodo. Inspired right behind it, but doesn't want to full commit. You can see he did the spear followed by the flag just to make sure that he gets the damage down, but he didn't want to commit to trying to go all in further for a play. Top laner is still going to be positioned down here on the other side of the map, fighting over control of that bottom lane as Saint gets the top side pushed out. LYON's arrow is on cooldown because we saw him go for the attempt on Saint when he was isolated in the top side river. The arrow went just a little bit wide, so that one didn't work out. Morgan's still looking for these scrappy encounters with Dokla, but knocks him the wrong direction. So Dokla's still just going to be A-okay on that one. Also had Isles and Berserker both heading down, so no way Morgan could have killed him off.
It does look kind of funny, though. I mean, he misses his Q, he uses E to go in, and then basically just bops you with the W, but the damage reduction on that thing is so high now, with the buffs, that even with the tiny bit of AP he has, it's 27% flat damage reduction, plus he's got quite a bit of armor, really high CDR, and all the healing on his passive. So it's just not an extended fight that Dokla can win, no matter how many spells you hit or do not hit.
Definitely annoying in isolation, but if we look at the group, honestly, I think it's still going to be annoying for TL because you have to worry about Isles positioning. That Mikhails puts a stop to so many of the pick opportunities that you want to create. Obviously, Berserker, as we said, already has his own cleanse on top of the Mikhails, but if the Karma is hovering around anybody, it's very difficult to go for Ash Arrow attempted picks. That's why you see, Ash Arrow is even being thrown at a Twisted Fate that has all the move speed with Swift March, because they're like, well, at least Isles isn't next to him. Maybe we could get a pick or something. But it would take some errors there from LYON to actually get hit sometimes. So it looks very good and very controlled here for LYON, just the way Inspired likes to play.
Well, it feels like the pressure then is on TL to not find so much the one pick off of an Ash Arrow, but it's got to be the angle in the team fight for Jose to go in, shoot the Seraphine ulti over the top of his head, and hit multiple people with the Encore. Make Isles choose who he saves with the Mikhails, and that's tougher to do than it sounds.
And you can't Mikhails the Gragas combo, right? So that's kind of really becoming so important that you have that CC then following it up, like you're talking about. You get that great engage, then you have all that follow-up, and you're hoping that that is going going to work for you, but your engages have to be so on point. You know, there's the Mikhails, the Shirelias is now completed as well, so you step a little bit too far forward. Inspire goes over onto the TF, you get sped up by that Karma Shield, you get the Shirelias popped, and he can just run at you with that gold card, no problem.
And now LYON is taking their opportunity to move through the enemy jungle, clear out some of this vision. It's less than 90 seconds until the Drake spawns, and LYON has only built their lead since the last neutral fight that TL fully conceded. LYON is up to a 6,500 gold lead now. They're taking all the camps from the enemy jungle, they're laying down vision, and they're getting ready for this big objective.
They should be saying, give all the money you can right now to Inspire to complete GA. If you have your jungler with GA for the Dragon Soul and enemy, there's no way Jose's going to get enough money for it. He only has one component right now. I think if you hit that breakpoint, it's like, holy moly, the fight is so stacked against you.
Nice stun there from Saint onto Jose. Ash Arrow fired out, but it misses. That's a pretty important cooldown to not have available when this dragon spawns. Team Liquid, they just can't find their shots.
And Inspired is just power farming so heavily. 254 CS at 27 minutes. He's almost at 10 CS per minute as a Jarvan, which people are like, well, Jarvan's the early game guy. You got a chain gank. He's like, I don't think I will.
He wants that. Can he get his recall? It's too close to the Dragon Soul now. So at the very least, he hasn't gone back to spend it to actually make a GA. So there is hope for TL. They're going to make their stand, clear out the wards, and hope for the best.
All right, Team Liquid is first to the area. Accelerated Shock Blast #1, not going to find a whole lot. Saint has wrapped around on the backside of the fight, ready to try to cut off the TL escape. Morgan goes over the wall, looks for Dokla. Doesn't want to overcommit only onto the Jace, but continues moving forward to create a little bit of extra space for TL as they regroup in the bottom side of this river. LYON now going to bring Saint back towards the rest of the team. Jose Otto keeps the dragon aggroed. TL trying to play this very slowly. Saint has the gold card ready to go yet again. Wants to save that rapid fire for a time where the whole team can make something happen with it. TL DPSing the Drake down to about half HP now. Dokla still waiting off to the side. TL grouped up as 5. Accelerated Shock Blast hits LYON there. Morgan has already lost about half his HP. Berserker doing good damage here with the Ezreal. Dokla jumps in. Team Liquid's got to be careful here. Jose Dioto on the front line, but he's all stunned up. The damage onto the Xin Zhao comes through, but they will not kill him off here just yet. Jose Dioto jumping in, trying to find the damage here onto Inspire. Get rid of the enemy jungler, but Berserker's unstoppable and LYON is dead. Enemy AD carried down, and LYON has found their moment to pounce. They want even more, and they're going to get everybody. It's a massacre in the bottom side river, a triple kill to Saint on the Twisted Fate. It's a 5 for 1, and this one's done. LYON rip them to ribbons.
LYON just dissected TL in this team fight. Dokla was going back and forth with Quid, had him chunk low. Morgan goes to the engage. Look at that sidestep from Dokla, makes him look silly, dodges the explosive cast with just a beautiful sidestep there. And on the other side, Saint Berserker flashing in onto LYON, finishing him off, and that is that. You've committed on one side, failed there. Their carries come in on the other side and take out yours.
They just play their range so well here. LYON don't overextend. They poke, they poke, they poke. They force you into such a terrible position there for TL. And then when the moment is right, they double flash on you with their carries. They get their kills. They get not only the Dragon Soul, but the Baron, and Flowers, honestly, the game.
Yup, this is a 12,000 gold lead now with the Mountain Soul. 29 minutes in here. I am expecting a full send for the Nexus push from LYON. I feel like they've got to be, for lack of a better word, inspired to end the game here.
Absolutely. And Saint just finished his death cap. He's got 24 stack Magi's, is on a pretty perfect game at this point, has been crushing it alongside Berserker. Their gold leads are monumental.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm fairly proud to have a North American team play this comp really well. This is one of those comps that people look at and they're like, well, it's not the easiest to play. You know, it's not the straightforward, oh yeah, we're just going to group up and front to back, 5-on-5. You have to play your range well, work around your gold card timings, around your poke timings, not overcommit on flanks, get the early leads for yourselves. And LYON have just really played to their win cons here and executed when necessary.
Now they're grouping up here in the top side. They quickly force down the tier 2 turret, reduce that one to rubble. Inspired is leading the split push over in the mid lane there at the same time to get that tier 2 removed so they can pressure 2 separate inhibitor turrets at once. Team Liquid is just scrambling to try to buy a little bit of time before the minion waves start colliding with the tier 3s. As long as Saint has the rapid fire ready, it's easy for him to find single auto attacks onto these turrets if he wants to. Both Baroned up Cannon Minions going to die there in the top lane now as Dokla rotates back over to mid, changing from a 4-1 into a 3-2 split.
I mean, it's just so tough because Morgan is the one answering mid lane, but he's also the only one that can really step up when Saint has a gold card, right? So, you know, as soon as the gold card is popped, Morgan is mid, everyone from TL walks backwards, and that means the minions come up, you slowly are chipping away at these turrets, and LYON is not going to rush it. They have Dokla pushing bot now, so they're playing 3 waves here. No one is down answering bot. That tower is going to be gone in about a second here as soon as Dokla steps forward, but he's playing it very safe, not waiting. Not going to go in early and get picked off.
And you saw how much damage Saint does with a single blue card with Death Cap, Lich Bane, nearly full stack Medjai's. This guy can knock that thing down in 2 more hits. And so the pressure on Team Liquid is just absolutely immense here as Saint is going to step back, sees Morgan walking towards him, doesn't want to potentially get caught out. LYON playing this very slow, very methodically. They've only got the Baron for another 45 seconds.
I think that 45 seconds may still be painful for TL, but they're going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, Quid tries to go in. The arrow hits Inspired, but he's immediately freed from the stun by the Mikhails. Now Saint has the opportunity to pop the tier 3 turret up there in the top lane right after, regroups with the rest of the team. The inhibitor turrets have been destroyed in all 3 lanes nearly simultaneously as Team Liquid's defensive engage completely fails. Bottom lane inhibitor down, mid lane inhibitor down, top lane inhibitor exposed, and TL's base is crumbling.
They're just peeling them apart, you know, 1 layer at a time, 1 tower at a time, slowly moving forward, getting good poke, chipping away at the structures. LYON is playing this game out perfectly here.
Guys, Zen bot side, Zen
I
bot
promise
side.
if we just fight, we'll win.
Shut up, please.
Fight, we'll win.
Shut up, please. Focus.
He's like, Inspired always wants to be controlled, man. You know, you don't go like, I honestly, we've all been there. You're getting a little bored. You're like, come on, let's just fight. We'll win.
We're on 14K,
come on, let's fight.
we got Soul.
Inspired's like, we stick to the plan. The checklist, our siege is good. We have the advantage. You know, we've got our Baron buff. We keep poking. We prod. We get the inhibitors down. Focus, focus, focus.
Gotta be careful. You might be getting subbed out for game 2 with talking like that.
Oh my goodness. I mean, so. Some people, since we have time here.
We were all thinking it.
Yeah, and since we have time here, they've got a 4K lead, 14K lead. Everyone knows they're going to win. One criticism that people have had, of course, for LYON over the years and some Inspired teams is that sometimes they play too slow. Some people do kind of lean into that in certain scenarios, but he really values the control and sticking to the game plans and staying focused on the siege. And yeah, they've got 14K plus the Dragon Soul, so here it comes.
Yep, final inhibitor about to fall here in top lane. They're letting that one bleed out slowly as the super minions come crashing into the base. Nexus turrets, all that's left standing between LYON and the Team Liquid Nexus itself. Stun onto Jose Diodo, not a ton of damage there just yet. Morgan here on the front line, trying to stop these guys, but the Nexus turret's already down to half HP each. Ash Arrow flies out, but Dokla's ready to flash away from it. Jose Diodo down to about 1/4 HP, tries to jump in. Does not have a Guardian Angel, only a Death's Dance. Saint goes in, flashes inside of the range to guarantee he can kill him through the ulti. Saint's gonna die, but he still takes one with him. 1-for-1 trade here so far as Quid tries to flash away, but Berserker's already dominating. Morgan back into the fountain as Nexus turrets die. Re-engage from Inspired right after to find another kill. Core JJ dies on the steps of the fountain. And LYON's gonna go ahead and get themselves an ace for 1, a triple for Berserker, an 18-7 performance, and LYON dominate game 1. Ultimately, he does get to play the Xinjiao. It does not work out for them. We saw that Inspired was able to find a lot of angles there on his Jarvan. We remember the Dragon fight where he says, I'll specifically look for Jose's Xin, go in on him. They find an additional play after, and okay. So LYON choosing blue side, Team Liquid choosing first pick. It's the Pantheon and Nocturne banned out by LYON, the Bard and Varus banned out by Team Liquid. It's looking very, very similar to game number 1.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I mean, assuming it is that Lee Sin as that next ban, obviously Jarvan and Xin are gone because they were played in game 1. If you're triple banning jungle again, that's, you know, most of all the top most played for Jose. The other 3 champions that he has played so far this split, assuming Lee is banned, are Aatrox, Neferi, and Sejuani, all 1 game.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to like fully blind those picks early, like especially the Neferi. Maybe you can do it with the Sejuani he has.
plus melees or
but
something.
I don't think he personally really wants to do that. I think his forte is just the Thunder Sky champions. But they didn't ban Lee Sin, so.
Yeah, Lee's still open. I also always worry about early picking Sejuani when Trundle's also still available in the draft. If the enemy team's willing to just slam the Trundle, it's very difficult to play the Sejuani game you want to play. But it looks like first pick of the whole draft will be the Rumble for Morgan. And remember that Lion is playing Castle in this one instead of Dokla.
And I always feel like if you go Lee Sin in a situation like this, Poppy is really hard to play into. Like, Poppy jungle is such a strong answer. We know Inspired is very comfortable on a bunch of different champions, so, you know, TL kind of have to make the choice. Like, is it important for us to get a Lee Sin or a jungle pick in the first 3? You know, knowing that it could get countered.
I think they'll like 2-3, like something like Annie Lee Sin, or I'm not sure how much they're committing to the Nivea. Maybe it's just a hover for Jose.
Let's see here. We'll let the clock run down. Plenty of powerful
Caitlyn,
options
Nico, maybe?
still available here. Okay, Caitlyn picked up.
I mean, they're just looking for lane dominant picks, like Rumble, super strong pick. Caitlyn, Nico, it's good into Lucian they showed, and most commonly Lucian's paired with Milio now instead of Nami. So they're just looking for strong lanes, and I'm sure they're going to try to combo Quid and Jose later on in draft in 4-5.
One thing I really do like with Milio versus Nico, though, even if Nico goes in, lands a big Pop Blossom with a multi-person root, it's like, okay, well, Milio's there, he's got Breath of Life.
Yeah, you got to catch the Milio too.
He's got to get caught, otherwise it's a big problem.
And you can sometimes be rocket belting forward, you're going in with your Pop Blossom, and you just get queued out.
You queued and you kicked in, then you look like a fool.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
and
a good time.
Nico doesn't really have anywhere else to go after that, so it could definitely be tough. Wukong going to get banned out, so not targeting the Lee Sin just yet, but still more jungle bans getting thrown at Jose, and clearly Lion feel like he is the main threat. Control Jose in the draft, and maybe that will be successful for them. Of course, you know, there are some good answers into the Rise up and available, like the Casio, like the Anivia.
But I don't think Quid as like a player to be super, like famous, I guess you could say. Like famous for his Casio as Anivia compared to like Quad would be, you know, Quad's Casio. So I don't even know if Quid's going to go that route. He might even go the Yone. Like he's shown the Yone into Rise, and then they already have the AP from the Rumble. So that's why I would imagine Tio's looking at right now and just finding something. So it could be like Sejuani Yone on 4-5 for Team Liquid if they don't end up target banning it here.
So if you're Lion, would you rather them ban the Lee Sin or ban out the Quid Yone?
I feel like I would give the Lee Sin because Quid doesn't, like, I don't really see Quid as the guy who's going to go Anivia or Annie here. But they did ban Annie instead.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Annie out of the picture alongside that Wukong. So 2 mid laners, 3 junglers banned out by Lion. Very specifically focusing a couple of things here in the draft. Over on the other side, though, the bans covering a little bit of everything. We almost have a full team composition in the Team Liquid bans in this game number 2. Will the last one also be a top laner? Do they want to also ban out something like the Cassante, another one of those traditional tanks that is often picked into Rumble? No, going to go with Ambessa instead.
So Ambessa going to get banned out. So it will be interesting to see where they go. I mean, Castle obviously is more known for his laning phase, so I think they're getting a little bit of a nod to that. Does have a strong Ambessa.
Yeah, I mean, the Ambessa Rumble matchup is, like, as far as I understand, from Thanatos' perspective, it's a little bit losing early, but then as you scale as Ambessa, it goes better and better and better as the game goes on. You know, get your Eclipse and your double shield.
Once you have Eclipse, every matchup I feel like is good for Ambessa. It gets tough for sure. Vi going to be the pick here. So now we're going to find out, you know, what Quid is actually looking towards, if it is kind of what you're predicting, more of these aggressive picks, or if it is something a bit more standard. Obviously, you know, the standard meta picks are more the Casio, the Anivia. Do you feel those matchups have changed much with the removal of Phase Rush? You know,
I think the like Rise Casio one has changed a little bit because Phase Rush is gone, and now there's Deathfire Touch, which Casio currently loves. So it's like a little bit buff for Casio, but we still got the Yone. It's Quid's Yone. I think this is like the champ I think of when I think of him. It's like that and Silas. So to me, it's no surprise he does this. I'm curious what he pairs with it, though.
Ooh, Shen. We might actually get the Shen answer that we've been seeing, obviously, you know, from Griffin a fair bit into the Vi. It is considered to be a pretty good matchup. You can kind of just power farm and stand united when he hits his cease and desist. So, you know, it can be pretty powerful. Also a great dive buddy with the Yone. So if the Yone is going in, you can use that stand united very aggressively, but instead it is going to be the Skarner, which, how do you feel about that?
I like the Shen, honestly, a little bit more than this.
Me
but
too.
Maybe Jose isn't like that comfortable on this Shen. So I think you can just take like a common tank champion, Skarner, and just, because Skarner's all right in Devi.
All right, Lion, what is our last pick going to be here for that top lane?
It looks like there might be flexing the Rise top lane into Rumble.
Well, because I remember with the interview that we had with Raz and Rigby in game number 1, Rigby was talking about we have a strategy. We have a way we want to approach this game. That's why Dokla's in game number 1. We're going to see how things play out, how we want to shift these guys around, if we want to shift these guys around. And it looks like that shift is Rise top for Castle in game number 2.
And that's what happens to you often in solo queue if you're going to blind Rumble, is you are going to be playing against some of these more like AP matchups, difficult matchups for Rumble. Obviously, it has a lot of really good matchups in pro play where people are just kind of blinding melee, so you can get the push, you can poke them down. But how do you expect this top lane to go? Have you been seeing this at all?
I've not seen this too much, and I'm also obviously not a top laner.
Yep.
But in the past, I have seen Rise played in a Rumble and then just play really lane dominant and just try to hump Rumble because, of course, he has the range advantage over him. He just plays from bush a little bit and just EQ, EQ, EQ. And then, obviously, the mid matchup of LYON. Ahri just has always your ult, but then her W, even to dodge the Yone Q3 when he goes forward. She can like kite Yone back and forth. And I think it's honestly one of Saint's best champions, Ahri, from my personal experience. So I'm a fan of the Lion switch up.
So you say that when you think of Quid, you think of his Yone alongside his Sylas as an iconic champion. You say that Saint's Ahri specifically is also very good. Which one would you give the edge in this head-to-head, knowing not just the champions and how they interact, but the players as the pilots?
I'm always a fan of Vi-Ahri combo.
Okay.
And I think it can be good in everything but Skarner if you get the Vi combo on Vi ult onto Ahri charm to anyone but Skarner this game. So I personally favor Lion.
Okay.
And I also feel like there's pretty good gank setup in top lane. If Morgan, it's tough on Rumble when you're trying not to push, right? You know, this champion kind of just auto pushes, and then you just get room prisoned into all of a sudden here comes the Vi for a lane gank or whatever. You can get picked off as well.
Here's a look at the current state of Lions win streaking here with their top lane. As you can see, a single game loss to Dig earlier on, and then win for Big Dokes. So Castle's got to make sure he steps up here on this Rise switcheroo.
I feel like this might just be the disparity within the LCS right now, though. It's like Dig, Shopify, DSG, Sentinels, like the lower, literally the lower half of the bracket.
Yeah.
And then they're facing TL. So who knows how this game can go.
Yeah, it is really interesting. You guys are the only ones who actually have beaten them in a series, but we have Jat standing by with TLAW's coach Spawn for an interview.
Thanks, Azel. We were just chatting. You sat down. You said, what a disappointing game 1. You want to talk me through?
Yeah, it just sucks to lose in the fashion that we lost, to be completely honest. We feel like we're a better team than that, and they kind of ran us around the map and made us look a little bit silly. So hopefully we show something more this game.
Yeah, what are the adjustments here in game 2 with this Yone draft?
A lot more fighting power, and then a lot more side lane control. I felt like when they had side lane control, even though we had technically a stronger team fight comp, that just dictated where and when they fought. So try and get rid of that a little bit and try and make some adjustments.
I was a little surprised to see Dokla in game 1 after the Castle news, but is that something you guys were preparing for all week?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to when we bought UG in last year, right? We played Umpty the first time around. You just want to make sure they're as comfortable as possible. Don't really want to throw them into a deep end. Dokla's obviously prepared with the team the whole time. So, Quid. Okay, he's all right. Yeah, so I wasn't really expecting Castle to play, but we were prepared for anything.
Sounds good. And what do you think has to happen here in game 2 to win the game?
I think we just need to keep the gold within touching distance this time around, and then I think that make sure that we set up on the Caitlyn side of the map so she doesn't get caught out, especially when she has no flash, and then should be okay.
All right, thanks very much, Spawn. I'll let you get back to the coach room thing you got, and we'll go back to the casters.
Yeah, go back to that coach room thing you got, buddy.
Yep, have fun over there. I'm sure it's going to be a better time than what Quid is experiencing here in mid lane. We saw he got very close to what could have potentially been a solo death. Did make sure he avoided the return on the Orb of Deception so that he did not actually find himself at death's door, but his farming is struggling a little bit early.
I mean, even though his farming's struggling, he has made Saint go so now this is the easy part of Yone lane. He gets push, and now we can just take a quick, easy base. Even though he's down a little bit of CS, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, was able to recover there. I mean, it really was just that critical moment. He used the Soul Unbound really well to dodge the pullback of the Q, the Orb of Deception, because if that hit as well, I feel like he might have had to flash or he might have actually been going to die there. So played that well, and then was able to dodge the next charm with his Soul Unbound as well. So, Quid handling the pressure pretty expertly.
Yeah. And then since he was able to push mid-wave in first, he bases first, which means he can TV back first, and now he's mid-prowl. So now he can stack the Q3. I don't know if he's going to look for something, but now he's a little bit more control in the lane, which is just the hardest part of this Yone Ahri matchup.
See immediately right there, ready to use the Soul Unbound, recognizing Saint is going to hit him as soon as he goes for the cannon, so manages to preserve most of his health bar there. We'll check back in on mid lane here in a little bit. Going down to the bottom side, APA, you even mentioned that it felt like game number 1 was built off of the early lead in bottom lane, then that transitions into Dragon control, and right now it looks like Berserker and Isles might have the push for the moment, but it is still LYON and Core JJ ahead in farm, as you would expect a Caitlyn lane to be.
Yeah, I mean, everything just kind of seems normal. Like, both junglers are full clearing down. This is their second full clear. And I imagine it'll just be a fight, honestly, for the 530 crowd that's going to come up. So it's going to, in my opinion, be like all hands on deck for both teams. And we'll just see what happens.
It's actually really interesting to me that we are getting Castle against Morgan, because we got Castle versus Morgan last week, but Castle on a different team, right? So it's rare to see that back-to-back. And he did create some really big lane advantages. Of course, my question for Castle is, can you convert those leads into teamfight advantages, right? You know, I think they kind of have inverse strengths and weaknesses when you look at Dokla and Castle. Castle, though, it's like, you can kind of give him a little bit of a break. He's like, well, your team's not very good. You're generally going to lose. It's harder to actually convert. What's your kind of a take on Castle versus Dokla? And do you see, you know, Castle as a strong player?
I personally think Castle's a very good laner, but I'm not sure how like tested he is in the sense of the macro game, the actual play in the mid game portion, because he's just always been on low tier teams, and like, let's be real, he's always losing on low tier teams. So it's hard to tell if he has a good mind for the game or if he's just a really good laner. And I think him going to LYON, and of course him going to LYON with Inspired, will like truly put him to the test and like make him grow as a player.
It'll be exciting to see how well that works out. How much of it is the team is now down to the bottom lane. Berserker in some danger. 200 HP left on that Lucian. Got to get back as LYON and Core doing a good job layering the CC there with the traps to guarantee extra headshots, extra burst damage, and win that trade.
I mean, it is just like playing a bullet hell when you play against whether it's Lux Caitlyn, Nico Caitlyn, Morgana Caitlyn. You dodging everything the whole lane. You're feeling really good. You get hit by one Tangle Barbs. There's a trap for a headshot. There's 90 caliber net for a headshot. You're getting hit by the Piltover of Peacemaker. Barrier heal gone. Back to base.
Yeah. I mean, this, from jungle perspective, I always talk about Blabber with this. The 530 crab, it should give Jose 6 unless he missed Krugs or something. Okay, he might have, I'm not sure what happened. He must have missed Krugs or like a small raptor, but it should have gave him 6, and then it could have been like Dragon Threat. But now since it didn't give him 6, it looks like it's just a fight.
Yeah, Quid immediately committing the Fate Sealed, going in here after Inspired, who nice use of the Vault Breaker there, finds his moment to sneak past without being body blocked, gets away without spinning the flash.
Yeah, that was pretty cute. I mean, it's him and Quid both juking back and forth. Quid is trying to get hit by the Vault Breaker, so he has to, you know, flash over the wall and use that. And of course, Inspired was able to get away without actually expending it. So at the end of the day, that is the ultimate down there for Quid for no real advantage.
Yeah, I mean, just both junglers back to full clearing. He did get the crowd, didn't give him 6. I'm not sure why, but looks like both junglers are just going to full clear down again, and then it's just going to be more of clear to bot and the bot hump.
What do you see as the team that has like the better scaling or the better team fight? Like, which comp would you rather be playing if you could just sub in right now?
Well, I think right now, bot lane gap is probably the biggest gap, so I'd rather be on the TL side. I'm not sure how good my Yone would be, but but right now it does look, you know, 20 CS lead, and they have what, 2 to 3 plates? Yeah, 2 plates already. So that just feels nice as a mid laner when you're slowly losing in a matchup like this.
Saint doing a good job interrupting potential recall there from Quid. Not going to allow him to take that one. Saint still maintaining about that one wave CS advantage that he built for himself very, very early on in the lane. So Quid hasn't fallen any further behind in that regard. As Jose Diodo is going to come down here, see Inspired looking to take this first Drake.
He saw him smite.
Drake. Yeah. So Inspired's just going to have to jump back over the wall. Jose also has the 1 level advantage here.
Yeah, Inspired, I think, was going to have his second charge of Smite pretty soon, so I guess his thought process was, I was just going to sneak this, so I'll just double smite the dragon and just trying to solo it down. But since Jose is in the area, he gets pushed off, no problem, and ends up being a bit of a waste. You know, thought he had Core on that reset timer, that they would have control and maybe be able to sneak away a dragon, which we're seeing a lot more, I think, Dragon Prio, like even in the early minutes. Like in your guys' series, it was like Dragon at 5 minutes in a lot of these games.
I think a lot of teams right now in the world don't think Grubs is that powerful.
Yeah.
And so, like, you can get Dragon, don't care about Grubs, you can dive bot or just farm camps or whatever, and just play for the second Dragon at 10 or 11 minutes. So that's currently what I think it's like. It's also, Vi is not the strongest early game champ to, like, make a skirmish, so maybe that's what Inspired's thinking. He's like, I'm not that strong, my mid laner is strong, but my bot lane's losing. So I'm just going to try and sneak this dragon real quick and not let the TL bot lane like dragon stack.
Speaking of that TL bot lane, they have their jungler down here, but Jose Diodo not willing to wait too long for something to happen. Does go ahead and take the recall, completes his first item there with the Protoplasm Harness. Very, very cheap overall purchase point. Nice early power spike for Skarner. Makes him deceptively difficult to kill.
Man, I think it's really important to keep your farm up, and especially when you're playing against Inspired, who is so farm heavy. And we saw last game at 27 minutes, Inspired had 250 CS on Jarvan, right?
Yeah.
Like, he is going to get his farm, he's going to get his levels, and if you are not keeping up, he's going to start taking your camps, he's going to start being in your face, and that can make it pretty difficult. But I'm kind of curious on your take on Gluttonous Greaves, because Gluttonous Greaves is going to be purchased up here for Quid. There's obviously a lot of discussion, you know, how they can perform better in scrims and solo queue because there's so many kills, so you get all the stacks really quick. But in pro play, a lot of people feel like it's maybe being over-prioritized. So how do you view it?
Personally, I'm not the biggest fan. I also know against the LYON team specifically, they play games really slow. I'm not sure how many stacks Quid is going to get. And if you compare the mid lane quest, Berserker Greaves already gives you 5% lifesteal, which is roughly what Gluttonous Greaves gives you right now. So obviously, if he gets, you know, I think it's 6 stacks at the most. If he gets 6 kills, 6 assists, it's going to be more valuable. But I just don't think he's going to get a lot of assists this game. And it doesn't even seem like you have to fight over the first dragon either. So unless someone creates a massive advantage, it's hard to like envision these boots being better, in my opinion.
Yeah, it kind of feels similar to the whole discussion around Collector to me, where it's like Collector feels really good when, you know, you get an early buy, you have early lethality, you're scrapping a lot, you're getting all these kills, and then you bring it to stage, and all of a sudden it's a 0-0 game at 22 minutes, and you're like,
there, Cassante has like 300 armor, and you're like, I got 10 lethality.
290 now. All right. Well, now Team Liquid, once again, looking around this bottom lane. Jose Diodo on the prowl, just going to move away some of this vision right now, as he has the smallest of gold leads over Inspired, and it looks like he's going to use the control that LYON and Core JJ have, the lead that they have here in this bottom lane, to maybe start up this Dragon. They've also got the rotation over from Quid on that Yone. So Team Liquid is saying, all right, let's go ahead, let's secure the objective. Got it down to about 2,000 HP. Inspired is in the area, but he's not going to move up and try to contest this one. So Mountain Drake for TL. Very late first Drake, 11 minutes in.
It just feels so hard for LYON to walk into that Drake. Like, even though Saint has Prow on mid lane, Quid's already in the river. He's with TL hitting the dragon. So it's just so difficult to walk in 4v3. And it's like, Ahri can't really face check. Ahri can't do that stuff by herself. So they're just fighting the 4v3. So it makes sense for them to give.
Berserker and Isles, I feel like, have done a pretty good job of just kind of mitigating loss. Like, obviously, they're losing the 2v2, but when we checked in, they were down at that one point, you know, nearly 20 CS. And as he picks up this wave, he's going to be down like 5-6 CS maybe. And I do think it's one of the things, you know, when I think about Isles and Berserker as a lane, when Yunara Lulu was really struggling, they were one of the only 2v2s that actually was successful with it, often because I feel like they are really good at giving up the minimum, surviving, making sure they're never allowing you to just get a free kill or something in Snowball.
Saint trying to escape Jose Diodo here in the mid lane, but Jose hits the maximum range on the Ishtal's impact to find the wall slam on Saint. Forces the flash afterwards, otherwise he's guaranteed to be caught in the Impale. So nice gank there from Jose.
I want to bring the perspective to top lane a little bit. Even though we have the Rise counter pick, it seems like we're relatively even, you know, up 100 gold, but that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And I'm not sure how much this Rise pick is going to be more valuable than Rumble later on. You know, you have the burn into the Skarner ult, into the Yone ult, or Nico ult. I feel like the counter pick's not working out as much as Castle might have hoped. He's not up enough to like to make it worth, in my opinion.
How do you feel about Rise versus Yone in the soul lanes later, like in side lanes? You know, if you're split pushing, because obviously, you know, Spawn was talking about how he felt like they had an advantage in side lanes this game.
I feel like Yone should win unless Rise is too far ahead, which he's not in this game. So once Yone gets his Bork, and if he meets Rise, it's not really a lot Rise can do about it. He doesn't lose really hard, but if Yone stacks Q3, gets on you with E, it can be difficult. It's also the sustain gap that Yone has compared to Rise.
All right, checking out our split map angle here. Now down the bottom, it's Quid versus Saint still. Inspired, ready to come in and make this Vi Ahri combo work out. Nice charm there onto Quid, who continues trying to get all the way away. He did a good job trying to buffer out there with a Fate Seal to cancel Inspired's ulti, but it will not matter anyway. It's first blood to LYON 13 minutes into the game.
I mean, just nice play. They knew that Quid was going to Q3 forward. They probably said that this guy's playing a little bit too aggressive. Inspired comes just through the lane. And even though Quid does mechanically play well and buffer the Vi ult, you're still stuck in place from the Vial, even a screen away. So the Charm still is guaranteed. And yeah, it was a nice play from Lion.
Yep, and they are able to chase him down. And it also sucks because that costs his flash, right? When you die and you lose your flash, it always feels so painful because your opponents didn't even spend a flash to get a kill there. And now the repeat gank is that much more easy. And yeah, you can play safe, but then you're not actually getting any push in the side lanes. You're not creating any pressure, and there's disadvantages caused by that as well.
Yeah.
You can see Jose Diodo tunneling through the wall there, looking towards Saint. One of the things that he always has to be so mindful of is that hard CC will just cancel Skarner out of his tunneling no matter what. So you've got to be creative with those angles, catch him by surprise. Otherwise, an Ahri Charm or a Melio kick is just going to immediately ruin your day. But this does create enough space for Team Liquid to go for the first turret of the game down here in bottom lane. Quid should be able to pick that one up himself, and it brings the gold right back to dead even with 25 seconds until the Rift Herald spawns.
I actually really like that play from TL. It felt like Saint super overstayed because he had so much gold, and he wasn't even on one completed item. When he goes back, he completes an item and has another finished Codex on top. He overstays bot, Quid gets back. Jose and Core do a really good job of keeping Saint around, and with Inspired having no ult, you know there's no real chance of a fight. So they actually end up getting Quid first tower and getting him a bunch of gold, and now Quid is way closer than he was.
Yeah, and even though the first play was good for a Lion, like you said, it's just too much of an overstay from Saint. He should have just based earlier, or if he's not going to base, he should honestly just fight them because he's not weak. I don't know he's no ult. So, like, all that hard work from Lion, it's put to nothing, and now, like, I see Quid, he is, what's it called, Bork into Castle right now. I think he's going to run Castle on the side lane if he's the option to fight him.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. These tempo plays can be so impactful. And it's not like immediately obvious when you're watching it, but just overstaying in that position, you lost all the advantage that you really did gain. So we are in a very close game. This is just 200 gold separating the teams here at 16 minutes. Next Dragon's about to spawn. And really, it could go either way in these team fights.
Yeah, but the Rift Herald is already on the map, and that's where Team Liquid is looking right now. Jose Diodo going to go ahead and begin the objective here as Quid also crashes the top wave into the Tier 1 turret. So it's TL with control over the lanes, priority over the Rift, as they have the objective down to about half HP. Core JJ disguised as a minion that's lost its way, moved into the river. Lion looks like they're not really going to contest for this, so TL just secure themselves a Rift Herald for free.
I mean, Morgan walked all the way up. Castle does have push bot, so he's going to get at least one plate, maybe 2 plates bot, I would think. And, you know, that is kind of the cost, right? You're giving up these minions. You're giving up some tower damage here. But Morgan has that move and was ready for a fight. So even if Castle TP'd in, you'd obviously be late to a fight like that, and I feel like it's just not worth taking.
Yeah, I mean, even though Morgan moved up, he still was around for the Dragon. So you saw Inspired try to do the Dragon because it's like, oh, they're top side, so I'm going to go bot side, try and do the Dragon. But Morgan's still moving around. He said, I don't care about this ball wave. I'm going to give it anyways. I'm just going to go check you on Dragon. So now they lose Rift Herald for 2-ish plates, it looks like, bot lane, and a couple waves, but they get no objectives. So, like,
I really like a play like that from a Rumble, right? You know, if you're playing a champion that has to win side lane 1v1, it's kind of different, but Rumble is mostly clear waves and team fight, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's okay to drop a wave or two, you know, for these kind of plays where you move up for the Herald, you help your team get that, you push them off the Dragon, you lose 6 CS, who cares?
And now you see from the TL side, even though they got Rift Herald, now they're also getting the Dragon, and to me, a lot of the credit goes to Morgan for this. He moved up for Rift Herald, he dropped a couple waves, sure, it sucks when you press tab, now you're down 2 mini waves, but you got 2 objectives just for him moving and playing the map well.
All right, Team Liquid, a much better look here in game number 2, but also a much slower game than we got the first time around. Only 1 kill as the clock is about to hit 18 minutes. Both sides just comfortable playing this one at a snail's pace.
So last time we checked in, you were talking about, okay, well, pretty significant bot lane advantage for TL. You know, that was early on, so you'd rather be in their shoes. Given that it is Lion, you know, up a couple hundred gold, and it is the 2 Dragon advantage for TL, do you still kind of favor TL's position in this game?
I think right now I could honestly go either way. It's like they have the Vi which could pick off the Yone or Rumble in the side lane. But when you go into team fight, it's like TL has so much tools to just wombo combo everything. You know, Skarner ult into Rumble, or Nico ult into Skarner, into Yone, and like Caitlyn putting traps underneath everyone. It feels like the team fights can be a bit difficult for Lion, but they have so much pick play with the Vi combination, and even Lucian can just make specific gaps when he sees like someone a bit too far out. And like you see a pick play coming from Inspired here.
he's really waiting on this one, though. Wants to go in after Quid, and there it is. Fate sealed again, trying to buffer through the ulti. Inspired heading back now as Jose Diodo shows up to make it a fair fight. Inspired's going to be focused down, but Quid is also very low, tries to snap back to his position. But good move from Saint, reading that that's where he needs to go. It's a 1-for-1 here at the start as TL wants to commit a teleport. Morgan arrives, but the fight has already faded. Even trade.
That feels really good, though, for LYON at the end of the day, because, again, they spent no flashes. It is a 1-for-1, but Saint gets the kill. Quid loses his flash, and you were getting a push on bot lane. You got the TP off Morgan, so I feel like, you know, they do trade up from this spot here. You know, mechanically well played again from Quid, but still the play does work out.
Like, this is a bit dangerous from Saint. He's no ultimate.
Yeah, he's really playing with fire here, and the fire comes down from the sky. The equalizer right where it needs to be. Jose Diodo plenty tanky enough to slam him into the wall there and guarantee they get the kill.
I feel like Saint is just trying to flip it too hard there. Like, I know they have the Ryze TP, but Ryze really doesn't want to TP yet. He's on so much gold. Like, just accept that. You made a play, it went 50-50, because honestly, he missed a charm of Vialt. I know Yone ulted it, but still, it's guaranteed like we said last time. So just accept, like, I think this is like the same mistake he made last time when TL got the bot lane turret. He's just overstaying a little bit too much.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, especially because Castle was almost basing anyway, so it's like you can just swap out. Castle can TP in and cover that tower. It's not like the tower was going to die and he needed to defend it. So a little bit of a punish there onto Castle, or rather onto Saint, and Castle, you know, is just steadily farming away. You know, took down that bot tier 1, takes a plate topside, is up to about 500 gold lead, and the Roa is stacking. He has the Archangels fully stacked, so is going to be pretty strong at this point in the game if he can actually get in on these team fights. But as you talked about, there's so much CC, so much wombo combo. If you do get hit by one CC from TL, it feels like everything else is going to be guaranteed, and you're probably cooked. I
mean, right now I'm just looking at the Ryze. Of course, level 16, one of his biggest power specs in the game. He's level 15 right now, and Roa hasn't even procced. So he's going to get 16 before anything really happens.
That's the advantage of playing Ryze top lane, right? The top lane quest gives you a lot of XP.
Yep, and that timer on that next dragon is right about where it'll need to be for those 10 stacks. His Team Liquid's going in. Berserker's the target. He stays alive, though. Isles with the breath of life, guaranteeing that he gets his AD carry away.
That's actually crazy. When he didn't flash, I thought he was completely dead, but he just tanks everything. They use the barrier, the heal, the breath of life, the shields, and he does stay alive without even using the flash.
But even with the chunk that Quid got, Jose has Rift Herald, of course, from before when Morgan got them the Rift Herald. So now we can just Rift Herald mid. Doesn't look like we're going to get the full turret, but even just sending that turret so low, one more movement from Team Liquid into the mid lane, they're going to take mid turret. And then playing mid as Lucian with no mid turret behind you is so scary.
Castle still just defending underneath this tier 1 turret top. He did tick over to 9 stacks on the Roa before it hit 1 minute on the clock to the Infernal Drake, so he will guaranteed be level 16 by then. Depending on how much experience he can get from the waves, he might even be able to get close to 17 by the time that this fight rolls around, and that is just nightmare material, I feel like, for Team Liquid to deal with such a powerful Ryze. Seraph's Embrace already fully evolved here too, so you know he's going to have the extra shield for if that Team Liquid wombo combo does land. Less than 30 seconds now until the Infernal Drake spawns, and TL is already doing the setup work. You can see the 3 Caitlyn traps on the ramp entry into the river. They want to make sure this is difficult for LYON to approach.
And no one is entering Quid right now, so Quid is just going to be pushing out bot. Saint has already moved mid to just try to group up with the team. Inspired is still clearing camps on top side, so I don't know if they're even going to try to contest.
It feels hard for LYON to break in. Like, Inspired's farming what looks like blue right now and doing the wolves. Dragon Spawn, it seems like they're just going to give, and I guess it's fine, but you're giving third Drake when you're not necessarily outscaling.
Yeah, it's really scary. I mean, I always feel like when you give Soul Point without fighting, you're basically giving yourself one mistake for the rest of the game, right? You know, you get picked off before a dragon, you mis-execute a team fight, you're cooked.
Berserker trying to get away now, but the damage arrives from TL without any protection nearby for Berserker on that one. A pretty critical pick there, as now the enemy AD carry is dead for the next 30 seconds. TL has already cleared that dragon off the map. They're on Soul Point like you're talking about, and they want to get even more.
I thought they would have started Baron there for sure, but just want to play it conservative, play for the mid-tier 1.
I mean, I guess they were just probably talking, like, dragons are win con. Yes, we did kill Lucian, but we don't need to push the game forward. We don't need to flip a Baron Smite fight between Inspire and Jose. So
LYON now trying to get something back in the top lane, as Castle level 17 on that Ryze does knock down the tier 1 turret. Second turret of the game claimed for LYON. as Jose Diodo makes his way into the top lane, trying to find the angle here, but again, the Rune Prison stops that Ishtal's impact. This is how you deal with Skarner running at you. It's very easy to stop him. Flash still forced, though, as Castle has to use the Summoner spell to evade the Impale.
Yeah, so Jose put some pressure on there. Spam chat to vote. Who is more likely to win the Kia MVP? Is it Jose or Inspired?
Whoa,
what do you think?
Vulcan?
What do you think?
Where'd Vulcan's name go in this?
Because these two are playing each other.
Okay, that's
so
fair.
we're just talking about this game.
Well,
I think Vulcan and Thanatos both have a shot.
Ooh, immediately though, Lion's going in for the dive, and there's your Wombo combo. Once again, it's Inspired and Saint working together. The Vi Ahri, like you talked about, APA, just that incredibly effective combo. This time around, it's finally not the Yone that's the victim of that play. Instead, it is Yon's first death of the game on his Caitlyn.
Yeah, I mean, they put 3 people topside. They put Morgan, Jose, and Quid to try and break that top turret, get Castle's flash. But then, of course, when you put people topside and overnumber, who's alone? Your ADC. And then Vi Ahri in the bot jungle, they obviously find Yon, and just looks like a good play from them.
This is the live chat vote, so people still pretty heavily on the Jose side. He is a very popular player, so obviously a lot of fans there backing Jose. What's your take? Obviously, if you can't vote for C9 because you're on C9.
Yeah, I'm biased, of course.
Well, but that's also how just the voting works. You can't vote for your own team in the awards, right? So who would you be favoring so far?
I personally think Jose has had a better split than Inspired. I think my personal read is, yes, Inspired is a good player, but he doesn't really turn it on in the regular season. He turns it on in playoffs. As everyone saw last split, they were like 5th place, and then, of course, they won. So I don't think Inspired's playing bad, but he hasn't been inspired.
He's not fully
locked in. He hasn't been
in.
inspiring you.
Yeah, he's not inspiring me for MVP.
Yeah.
Fair enough. He's got about 1/3 of the vote here compared to Jose Diodo's 2/3 in our chat poll thus far. Lion still at about a 1,500 gold lead, but time is ticking. Azale, you already said it earlier. It feels like when you give Soul Point without a fight, you are allowing yourself one more big mistake for the rest of the game, because at any point, if they win the Dragon fight from here on out, they claim the Infernal Soul. It's less than 2 minutes now, so the pressure is on for Lion. And we saw last time, TL was first to the bottom side river. They set up the Caitlyn traps, and it felt impossible for Lion to approach.
Yeah, it is going to be really hard. So I think it's important for Lion to get there early this time and have their vision and try to contest the entrance.
Yeah, I mean, I think like a straight eye contact fight against Caitlyn and Nico and all of these like Wombo combo champs in the zone might be hard. So I'm looking at Saint and Inspired to see if they can find something, some way to push in through a side lane, push in through like an angle on mid, and then make a funny angle where someone splits.
And I'm looking at the fact that Death Cap just got completed, GA just got completed, Actualizer is done, Lion is hitting all these big power spikes. Yeah, Jose's on 3 items too, but he's on, you know, the garage sale build. It's a support item. So I do think Lion have basically staked their game on this one fight. They have gotten as strong as they possibly can. And Inspired is doing Inspired things, you know, power farming, and is on that 3-item GA spike here for this Soul fight.
Well, Jose is definitely keeping it closer in farm in this one compared to game number 1, where there was about that 50 gap around this point in that first one. This time around, it's still only a few camps for Inspired over his opponent. But yeah, the quality of item difference between the two is very noticeable, with that Guardian Angel, of course, being the biggest one. Both AD carries also on 3 fully completed items. You've got the LDR for Berserker's Lucian. You've got the Rapid Fire for Yon's Caitlyn, which is going to give them even more poke potential if they can set up around this objective first.
I just want to look at Saint right now. He's trying to create so much zone and just play from a side angle. He's obviously playing with Inspired. And then we have the Lucian Melio, who's so strong going from the front. So if you go and mark Saint, you're giving up your Caitlyn strength a little bit. And now Team Liquid doesn't really have a zone, so they're going to have to walk in blind to what it seems like Vi Ahri.
Yeah, Inspired waiting off to the side here, looking for the chance to find a high-value target. Yon would have to be the highest, I would think. Quid and Morgan also good targets here as Jose Diodo gets hit with a Rune Prison. Charm's not quite there in time for the follow-up CC, so Jose's going to walk forward. Flash, Eastal's impact straight into the wall. Impale right after. Saint is dead before the fight even starts. Yon is low, but Inspired cannot kill him. Berserker's got to deal with Morgan off on the left side of the fight. Lion has lost the Guardian Angel on their jungler. They've lost their mid laner already. TL standing strong as Inspired falls. Castle goes over, tries to find the damage on Yon, but no, he's not going to get it. Lion fall apart, and Team Liquid washes him straight out of mid lane.
I mean, that should be Infernal Soul, that should be Baron, and honestly, that was so insanely well played by Jose. He flashes on Skarner, and I personally didn't see the angle. I thought he was kind of trolling a little bit, but watch, he connects Saint into the wall, into the R, and it's just all the follow-ups you see that we're talking about. Nico ult, Rump, the Rumble ult that's coming across, the Caitlyn traps on the body, like there's so much for them to dodge when they're hit by one thing.
Yeah, I mean, that was really well played by Jose. You know, he's kind of just stepping back and forth there.
Oh my god.
Actually a pretty big reaction there from Inspired. Obviously frustrated about how that went. I mean, as soon as Saint is killed off, they almost killed Yon on the dive, right? If Saint isn't dead, that's an easy
he's
kill.
For sure dead.
And Berserker got so much damage out in that fight. So, you know, if like you're talking about, if Saint actually survives, if that CC chain is not perfectly layered, then that fight probably goes horrible for TL. But that is the game decider, and that is the risk you take when you give up that third dragon.
Oh, hold on now.
Yeah, might have another fight already as Jose Diodo has to back away. Lion entering into the TL jungle, but Jose is ready to try to turn it around. Goes for the Impale, not going to find anything. Jose Diodo killed at the very start of the fight, but now a counter kill immediately for TL as Castle falls. Lion trying to fight further. Yon has died. Saint with a kill on that one, but a double kill for Quidzione. And everybody on Lion is just cut down. There's no chance now that Infernal Soul extra damage. Even though it started a little bit dicey for TL, losing Jose immediately, they still win the fight.
It almost feels like Lion might be a bit tilted after that play and listening to Inspired's comms. Like, they're playing slow the entire game. They're giving this, giving that, giving objectives. And then there's a random fight over a minion wave in the bot lane.
Yeah, it kind of feels like, you know, maybe they just think they're in a position where it's extremely low chance, so you're going to take anything, right?
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, all right, we got 5% chance, let's go.
Great comms from Inspired there.
Yeah, it's hard to find the moment where you really feel like you've got the best shot, when you've given up the Infernal Soul, when you've given up the Baron, when it just feels like Team Liquid owns everything on the map, and right now they do. 6,000 gold lead, Infernal Soul in pocket. You can look at the scoreboard and see a greater than 1,000 gold individual advantage in every single role except for jungle. And remember that Jose Diodo still has the same number of fully completed items as Inspired because he's buying cheaper stuff. So if there's anybody that's going to not have the biggest gold lead, I'm totally fine with it being support items.
Yeah, and I mean, you're a Skarner, right? Like, you use your CC.
He did his job in the previous fight, the Drake fight. He got the E on top of Saint, which I think is a miracle play by Jose. It seemed a little bit difficult with them walking in.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a few of those. Obviously, like Hambach had the pick against you guys as well, where, you know, it can turn a game completely. You're laughing about it.
Good reminder.
Hey, you guys still won the series. It's okay. I can remind it.
It's still good manner.
It is, exactly. It's not bad manner, you know?
All right, Team Liquid is going to take the Tier 2 turret here in the top lane. 6-3 in the turret count, as Lion tries to get one back down here in bottom lane, but Saint not going to have enough time alone with that structure to guarantee it.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the entire game before the Soul fight. It was like line up maybe 1K roughly between the Mirage players. But now it's just after the fight, snap, and then boom, 6K goal lead for Team Liquid. They got everything they want. I feel like Lion has to make some magic happen now for them to pull this one back.
I completely agree. I mean, when you look at how strong the carries are, when Caitlyn gets to this point in the game, one headshot is half your
thousands
HP.
of damage at this point.
Yeah, and I always feel like when Yone reaches this point in the game, Yone can miss every ability and just auto-attack you to death.
Auto, yep.
Exactly. It's like, you look at your death recap, it's auto-attacks and a W. Everything else missed, and you still are
he's
dead.
so tanky because he has Immortal Shield Bow. He does have the Gluttonous Greaves upgraded, which gives him more shield power.
And now, Lion's going to full send to go after him, though. They can't kill the Yone in time, and the counterattack arrives from Team Liquid. Now, finally, the kill goes through. Quid is down. Lion has found a second kill, and honestly, this fight might be a little bit of what they're looking for, but Yon is still alive. He's still fighting. He's still firing. He's already got himself a double kill, and TL bites back.
Yeah, TL able to fight back through that.
No way. Oh, I thought for sure.
Where's the collector when you need it?
Yeah, I thought for sure that was going to be it.
Jose's going to find him, though. There's no way you're getting out of this. And TL do end up winning the fight at the end of the day. I mean, I think Lion are just taking any angle that they can look for, and I think it wasn't a bad angle by any means, but Berserker just gets so low from all of this random damage that's coming in. He had to dash back over the wall, and as soon as he's pushed out, well, you don't really have any consistent damage left.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're just looking for the magic, and it looked like potentially right there that Quid might have been hinting, but he has so much shield power, he has Wit's End now, he has his W, he has so much mobility. It's just like they're down too much in my opinion.
Yeah, Team Liquid's going to take this opportunity to grab themselves a mid lane inhibitor, crash the waves in top and bot lane into the tier 3 turrets as well. It was only Isles standing. Inspired has respawned back onto the map now as Morgan goes for his full retreat. Isles isn't going to be there in time to really stop anything from TL. About 60 seconds left on the clock until we get Baron, and only 15 seconds after that, Elder Dragon spawns. So I think we're about to have a pretty explosive sequence.
If at first you don't succeed, flip again. Because if Elder, Elder is your last hope. If the soul doesn't work, that's all you can really do. And, it's that's really all you got, right? You're hoping you get the Elder because that's a great equalizer.
Yeah, I mean, if I was on the Team Liquid side here, I would say don't flip Elder. I think this is the really only way we can lose is if Inspired somehow smite steals, and then, they do have enough damage. They're not weak. Like Saints 4 items, Berserker's almost 4 items. So they're not weak, but that would just be what I'm doing on Team Liquid right now. I would just say, don't for Baron, push waves in, and then just get control and make them come into us.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And you touched on it, Gluttonous Greaves fully stacked. At that soul fight, by the way, Quid had 1 stack on the Gluttonous Greaves. But that, they got past that, and now he has so much extra Omni Vamp, so much life steal, with this build.
The shielding too. It gives 15% shielding increase, so on his W and the Immortal Shield Bow. Especially since he's level 18 and maxed it out, it's going to give a lot of shielding power.
Yeah.
Look at Morgan's positioning here on a control ward off to the side, ready to drop the equalizer right when they need it, and there it is, Fate Sealed straight into equalizer. Berserker's already down, and Isles follows. Inspired's in the back line, but he's there all alone. Team Liquid finds 3 kills easy. This third one, it's going to take an extra second from the Guardian Angel, but that's all it'll buy Inspired, as Castle and Saint got to try to get away here. But Jose Diodo and the rest of Team Liquid are in hot pursuit. It is a 4v2 for the next 30 seconds, and TL's going to back away.
Yeah, just going to go for Elder. Try to just guarantee it. I guess I thought they would have just tried to finish. I mean, Castle was incredibly low. They have the supers coming in.
They know Saints know Ariel too.
Yeah.
They should know Castle's no flash from the previous fight that they happened. I mean, I get it. It's a tense game. It's like 2 of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
But I feel like they could have ended there. They have a 4-item Caitlyn. They have a Yone who's alive, who's 4 items. He's going to shred the base. But I guess they're just going to do Elder, maybe go Baron, and then try and end with all the buffs.
Yeah, exactly. You get Elder, that guarantees Baron, and then you kind of walk down, and that, I guess, they think is the 100% play. So, again, playing a little bit more kind of conservative. It was interesting. We had the comms from Inspired on the other side when they were up like 11K, and Doga was like, we can just fight them and kill them, and he's like, no, shut up. We're going to play, we're going to play smart, and it feels like TL is kind of taking that route as well.
Team Liquid is going to commit to the game-ending play after this Baron, though, because you can see...
You really need to carry the game, bro. When we force LYON flash ult, you need to make plans how we're gonna get advantage. You can't just on Rift timing TP top, and then we don't contest Rift, we don't say anything. We have to make a play around this LYON. So if you think he's gonna contest wave, I need to stay top.
Wait, shut up.
Okay, definitely some contention there amongst the comms in LYON, but what I was going to say is, look at the inventory of YON. When he went back and shopped after they got the Elder, he sold his Doran's Blade and bought Seeker's Arm Guard. So he's ready for anything they might try to send at him with the Vi Ahri to make sure the next fight is the last fight in the game.
I'm actually a fan of this kind of thing as a late game buy. If you have 1,600 gold, there's nothing better that you can buy as an AD carry in this point of the game. How can you possibly lose? Well, you get one shot by Vi Ahri. Well, Vi flash, press alt, you press stasis, okay, GG. Yeah, you have a useless item, but it's a one-fight game.
Yeah. And there's no defensive item in the game that's going to save him from the Vi Ahri combo right now. Honestly, except Seeker's Arm Guard.
Yep.
So I think it's a smart buy from YON.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. But it does signal to me that Team Liquid is done messing around. They've got everything they could possibly have on the map, both super buffs. They've got the Dragon Soul pushing towards the enemy Nexus turrets now. Quid coming up to join the rest of the team as the equalizer is dropped first and foremost. Core JJ goes in to try to find the catch onto Saint with the Fate Sealed, immediately following up onto Berserker, and both the carries are already down. Team Liquid kills 2 for free. Ace in the hole is going to guarantee the execution on Isles as well. Inspired and Castle just sitting in the fountain. Team Liquid 21-8. They're going to take us to game 3.
They absolutely are, and LYON and the comms seeming a little bit frustrated. You know, it seemed like they were reviewing that game in the middle of the game, which...
That's the Inspired special, honestly.
Well, we'll see if they can come back and take down TL in Game 3, or if TL are going to clean up the series off the back of that. Lounge, what do you think?
Direct style and the feedback and stuff, and the things that seem very confrontational. From the team. So, maybe that is another thing where you're judging these players, yes, by their play and how they're going to fit in the team and how they deal with the comms, and all kinds of things are going on. But
It's an adjustment for sure, though.
Yeah, I mean, wow, there's so many angles now for this team with some of the stuff that we're getting now. I would say biggest takeaway, though, TL, they were playing very well in that game. Huge credit to TL, especially Jose. This guy, I mean, you keep rolling these polls for MVPs and stuff. I think the stocks for Jose rose and rose and rose even again in the previous game. Morgan also having a really good one there too. So TL, I really like the strong comeback here in game number 2 to push us to this decider.
Absolutely agree. I mean, I think Jose made the game-winning play. It was that catch on to Saint.
E-flash. It's also, sometimes that was like very close to the E ending before hitting the wall. And that's one of the hard things sometimes to judge on Skarner. And having the timing and the CC lane that you guys were talking about
was perfect.
Was clutch.
So Nocturne not going to be banned here by LYON. Instead, LYON are going to be banning Renekton, which is the champion that people most associate with Morgan. Late, coming over from the LCK, that was the champion that he was kind of most known for.
And I think that might have to do with LYON being first pick. Maybe you just want to slam that Nocturne there for yourselves, as we do have the Renekton, the Lee Sin, the Pantheon banned out, the Orianna, the Varus, and now the Lulu banned out by Team Liquid.
I like the Lulu ban because LYON, especially later in a series, are definitely willing to go Lulu, Nara, or Zeri, or any sort of hyper carry pairing, basically. You can go Nocturne, but I don't know. I don't love Nocturne as like a first pick because it really does require a full dive comp. Obviously, it's such a good pairing with the Orianna. I think it can individually be strong, but you are fully committing and broadcasting to everyone, this is what our comp will do. And look at the win rate, 1 in 7, right? It has not really been that successful because generally when it's getting played is without the Orianna. And now when you're on the other side, you can be like, all right, we're playing counter engage. With their first pick, I already know exactly what they're going to do because you can't be like, oh, never mind, we're going to play poke. And now we'll just have Nocturne press R and then strafe. Like it just doesn't work.
You like cursed name combinations. Whenever I hear 1 in 7, I think of that Brazilian soccer team. So this is Sockturn. That's what he accomplishes. He kicks the ball, he doesn't hit the net.
So you're saying he's only Sockturn for this game because the win's going to change after this game.
Win or lose, he's no longer Sockturn. But for this brief, holy moment in time,
together, here.
Everyone watching, congratulations, you're here for this Sockturn moment. The one and only this brief period in time, the 1 in 7. But here's the counter engage that you're talking about. If you see a Nocturne, you say, all right, get me out of there. Xayah airlift, I have a pretty good counter engage option. And to me, I always like mentioning for LYON and Core JJ, I think they're the most dangerous Xayah Rakan combos that we have had in this league. They have performed on it way more than anyone else certainly has. And obviously Core JJ has his own Rakan skin, so
that's pretty good.
That's a little bit more credibility there on top.
Yeah, that helps. I mean, LYON is 3-0 on the pick so far this split.
Yeah, he's shredded.
He is really, really good at playing. His game against Disguised just last week, he brought it out and was quite effective there. And so it is just going to be, a comp built here to absorb the dive. You have Victor, which obviously, you can dive on Victor for sure, but Victor can also go some pretty defensive builds, and you can get in towards the Zonias later on. You have Xayah, who's going to be able to answer with the Featherstorm pretty effectively, and Rakan, as you dive in, presses R and runs through your whole team, and that makes it very difficult to follow up.
And yeah, Victor's diveable, but as he sees you diving towards him, he's going to throw down the gravity field. He's going to summon the Arcane Storm. You might get him, but it's going to hurt getting there, and there's still the rest of the team that you've got to deal with. Xayah's ability to not only save herself, but leave an entire field of feathers to, again, counter this dive. I'm curious how LYON is going to back this up with this Nocturne to make it all work out. Getting into second half of the bans, we do need to see how these are going to work. The Azir banned away by Team Liquid, wanting to make sure they don't just go scaling Control Mage versus scaling Control Mage here in mid, as Wukong is targeted by LYON.
Well, I was going to call out the Akali as a potential ban here because I'm just thinking about who are your dive buddies, right? Inspired needs some dive buddies, and Saint, generally the champions that he plays, that are aggressive are ones like Akali, which just got banned, like the Ahri, which just got played,
and
the Yone just got played. There's Sylas, but I don't really know that Sylas is going to fit as well here. Sylas can steal Rakan ult, that's all right. Maybe something else comes in, but I'm just kind of struggling to think through like what their pairings are that make the Nocturne feel valuable.
Maybe they're theorizing that Morgan is probably going to pick a tank due to the TL team comp, and then maybe they'll have Dokla on some sort of dive/carry top lane option into it. Maybe that is the angle. We'll have to wait and see. because TL definitely would benefit from a strong front line still here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dokla, when we look through what he's played, like he hasn't played Abessa, he hasn't played Aatrox or any of these kind of melee divers. He does play some aggressive stuff, and he did play one game with Kennen, which I think Kennen fits really well with the comp, but it has to also fit the matchup, right? And Morgan is going to be last picking here. Jose just goes Sejuani. He's been focusing with bans the whole series long, but he just goes to another tank here. And Annie, would obviously be a pretty good pairing. So could be interesting to see what he goes for, and maybe they feel like Annie Nocturne is just enough, but I do feel like you need another champion in there to get in the backline.
I feel like, though, if I see an Annie classically doesn't like dealing with long-range mage matchups in the mid lane. They just kind of poke her out before she can get into effective range for her own spells. So instead, they're going to settle on the Anivia here for LYON.
Yeah, and the question is that top or mid? We will find that out with this last pick for sure. I think it's an okay matchup against Victor. Victor can kind of outrange and poke down and get push. Anivia, of course, you're looking for catches with the wall, but Anivia is not a champion that wants to relocate. Like, you set up shop, you have control of space in one area, and that's kind of what you're looking for. And I am just a little bit worried that it might be the Nocturne versus the World, but there is that Silas that I had touched on. That was the last kind of aggressive pick that Saint had left, and they're just going to go for it. So it looks like it probably is going to be Anivia top here, and Saint plus the Nocturne are going to be the dive buddies.
Yeah, I actually saw Dokla in solo queue game Anivia just the other day, so I think that is where it's going as well. And Anivia also is so good into so many matchups on top side. It actually is blindable, even though it's not the most giant play rates. And Morgan says, fine, I will take the Jax into it with a Sejuani synergy. That gives you a lot more confidence, because as annoying as Anivia can be, the Sejuani synergy is very, very strong here. Jax can proc the Sejuani passive very, very quickly, and you have a couple of more ways to play the 2v2. It's going to be interesting, though, too. I think a lot of resources should be spent around getting mid lane priority pretty early in this game, because that can actually open up the map for you. Like, if it goes to the TL side, and you keep the Silas, constantly having to recall and under turret, and you're taking away the resources of health that he wants to be able to spend to lane effectively, and you kind of get the Silas behind the pace of the game, so that he doesn't scale as well, can't get as tanky and as much cooldown reduction, then it's going to make him a lot less effective here. So TL, it seems like once again they've built a pretty strong team comp here that kind of forces LYON to work a little bit more for their win con.
And I feel like I like what TL drafted a lot more, right? Like, you have good angles of attack, on the top side. Yes, Anivia is really strong in the isolated 1v1, but famously, Anivia is so slow. You are very gankable. If you get up there, kill off this Anivia, it can get bad in matchups like against the Jax, where Jax can just constantly jump on you if he gets ahead and can start to really punish. And then you're thinking about all the ability to counter engage. You're trying to engage onto LYON and Quid through Jax, through Rakan, through Sejuani. That sounds hard.
So back in game number 1, obviously things didn't go great for Team Liquid. We heard in the game number 2 interview from Spawn that it was frustrating. It felt like they didn't play the way that they knew that they could, and he was like, I really hope we can show a better game here in number 2. Sure enough, it was slow, but they did. It showed me that Team Liquid had the right perspective, the right outlook on why they lost and how to fix it. And so now I'm curious if LYON will be able to bounce back the same, considering the frustration that we heard in their comms. We see both junglers starting on the other guys' Raptors here in game 3.
Yeah, LYON are going to split the map here for their Corki Nami lane in the bottom side. Or not even fully split the map, just go for the Raptors and cross into counter jungle here. So Inspired is showing, so that means Jose knows he's not going to have time to stick around. It's not going to be a full split map. He says, okay, fine, I'll just do the Raptor trade with you.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I don't think you can allow your Anivia to get isolated on that side and go into a split map where Anivia has no vision and has to play on the same side as the Sejuani and the Jax. That would be too difficult. This is, of course, all the most recent games from Dokla, who has been just kind of chain-winning games with LYON. They've been doing very well lately. Of course, they did lose their first series of the split against Cloud9, and now going up against TL, the other of the kind of top 3 teams, trying to keep themselves in with a shot for first place. And they have to win this series if they want a shot at first place.
All right, TL bottom lane. LYON and Core are happy. Just farming up underneath the turret right now. Corki and Nami with control over the lane. Powerful duo. And now looking at junglers. pretty standard stuff despite the early switcheroo on the Raptor camps. Everybody just clearing top to bottom side. Of course, Inspired is going to be slightly faster on that one, as you can see him going to the next camp here already.
Yep, going to be feeling pretty good about that. Saint, of course, just trying to withstand the pressure from Quid, in these early levels. Deathfire Touch, can be pretty darn strong in this kind of matchup because it is pretty easy to constantly reapply it. And of course, if you keep it going after 3 seconds, it doubles the damage that it does off the initial poke. So, Quid is just constantly trying to look for the reapplication there, but does have to be careful of taking a tower shot because of that DFT.
It is going to be interesting, too, on second Raptor spawn here because mid lane pressure, as we talked about from Champ Select, is going to mean a lot. And they did kind of force the double starts for Raptors for the really early Raptor timings here. Inspired is going to take the bottom side Scuttle Crab and be there for second spawn / the wraparound on Quid. Is going to pass through, but Quid says, fine, I avoid it quite easily, and Inspired's going to get the double.
Exactly. I really like the fact that Inspired just said, you know what, I don't care about my blue buff. We had to waste the extra time because we were walking back and forth to our own sides of the map. So now I'm just going to instead prioritize these crabs, takes both of the first crab spawns, and then now has his own chickens to go right back to.
So he is going to do the second chickens here and then quite possibly go up to crabs afterwards, but without going for a recall. So doesn't have any extra. Okay, so now he's going to pass down back to the blue since it's a. Okay.
Nope. Now he's heading back.
Still no. So without the recall,
Gotcha.
Yeah, without the recall, you are a little slower. He's debating. He's like, okay, do I need to defend this blue, or does it matter? Do we need to cross again?
And I feel like when you see that TL has bot push and you're expecting Sejuani over there, you saw him on that ward. You just don't want to fight that, right? So he's cross-mapping, seeing if he can trade back any camps, but nothing is up here. And because of kind of the weird start to the game, clearly he doesn't have a perfect count on what camps have been taken by Jose, so he thought he could steal away a camp to trade, wasn't able to do so. The Gromp is spawning now, but it would be too late, so he needs to get back to base, and as a result, I think Jose is pretty happy about this.
Yeah, I like the information gathering and kind of reacting there as he's got the ward that's over by the Raptors and trying to change depending on the movement, so good, honestly, responses this whole game from Jose so far, and farming kind of evenly here does feel pretty nice, I feel like, for TL.
Yeah, I mean, Quid holding on for a long time. He's really trying to greed the lost chapter, so didn't want to go back to base, but he still hasn't even TP'd. And Saint is taking his second base. So Saint is already heading back out from base here twice. I think the wave is going to be pushing away from him, so is going to lose some minions in that mid lane. Quid was able to kind of corral that, and now is going to TP back. Have to assume he has a lost chapter or something. Instead, going to go for a catalyst. So I wanted to greed for a first goodbye, and did get that, but Saint looks like he missed that cannon, unfortunately.
Yep,
so
I didn't see the yellow number pop up. Unfortunately, the second part of that Q did not explode in time. Poor Saint, RIP. Still feeling all right here in this lane. It's a very slight CS lead. Meanwhile, LYON try to go in after Berserker, but the fast reaction there valks away the Lion ADC to safety.
We're having some pretty late base timings, honestly, in a couple of these lanes. You look down in bot lane as well. Both LYON and Berserker have not yet based, and TL, like as you said, I think are going to be pretty happy just farming away. Up on the top side, Morgan is doing a great job just holding his own, just trying to survive under tower and keep farming.
And honestly, depending on how many of these minions at his tower he picks up as we get ults traded in a mid lane, Saint going to be able to push with that one. Morgan now even going offensive on the push back out off of the tower.
Okay, Morgan flashing forward, wants to try to find his kill onto Dokla, or at least try force him into egg. Dokla does stay alive for now. Meanwhile, the fight continues down here on the bottom side. CoreJJ got to be careful. Battle dance back towards LYON. Now, I might not be right about this, considering I don't know all the Zyra interactions. Morgan trying to find a stun there onto Inspire, but has to jump back over the wall. I believe that CoreJJ had the range on that battle dance just because it's Xayah that he was dancing to. I think that wall would have been slightly too wide on a normal champion, so the synergy paying off there.
Yeah, it did definitely look like it. There are some of those nice little interactions, of course. For having that duo. Was kind of an interesting experiment. Never have gone back to it, but is a fun duo for sure.
I like, too, the choice to trade your flash with the Anivia on top side. Wait a second.
Ooh, Saint just
Low.
abscond up, ducks straight into the brush, finds core JJ, who has to use his heal to make sure he doesn't get too low, and dances back to the safety of Jose Diodo this time.
It made me think when Morgan's going for that trade, I'm already thinking, okay, so that was when both junglers were level 5. So he's doing this ahead of time to prep the possible Sejuani level 6 gank. Like, again, that chain CC is incredible. Egg, honestly, if you don't have your flash, the egg probably isn't going to matter much at all if you have Sejuani get up there, because the chain CC is so much and they can pop you in an extended lane. So I want to see if that's where they actually do want Jose's pressure, because Jose, or Morgan very clearly, doing the early work there. Even though we were also kind of looking at mid lane as a possible site, since they still have their flashes, it's not nearly as enticing. And then you always have to second guess yourself when you're playing against Nocturne, though, and not overextend.
Absolutely do. I feel like Jose has just done a really good job of being a bit unpredictable with his pathing, because that's multiple times now that Inspired has crossed thinking there's camps to steal. First he went for the top side, now he goes for the bot side, trying to check the red and the Krugs, try to steal that away, but they weren't there. So he has to just walk all the way back across the map here. And you can see that nice little trick with the wall. You can basically make it so it's guaranteed the wave will come to you, because the cannon's just freaking out.
Yeah, like you're losing the DPS of those minions.
The
minions walk around, so they're not damaging the enemy minions, and you get a nice little placement of the wave.
Well, that's a 2v2 here in the bottom lane. Again, starting to get dangerous. Yawn fires back into Berserker, but it's Jose Diodo over the wall. And that's the edge that TL needs. The jungler shows up, and it's first blood for Liquid.
This campaign for MVP is looking good, guys. I gotta say, Jose's making a very good case for getting my vote, at least.
I mean, Jose's been smurfing for sure. I gotta say, I don't think Berserker wins that even in a 2v2, though. He was very aggressive. He kind of just walked past the grand entrance there. He valks forward. He's going really aggressive. Yawn still had barrier and ultimate. I just don't see a world in which they actually win that 2v2. So, did go for the aggressive play. And Jose is there to punish. Just don't know if it would have worked out even if he wasn't.
Tough stuff for LYON, man. They got to make sure they're locked in here. Like you said, they're still potentially in the running for first place, but that is 100% eliminated if they lose this series against TL here today. Quid eats a turret shot back in the mid lane. Inspired comes in with a paranoia here for the gank. Flash over the wall from the mid laner of Team Liquid. Quid barely staying alive. Saint goes over with the stolen Glacial Prison, and that will seal the deal. LYON is on the board. However, up here from the top side, we were asking earlier, will this pay dividends, forcing the flash on Anivia? Yes, it will. Scrambled eggs for breakfast. Morgan's eating good.
And it's actually that TL lane swap play where they recall early for bottom side, swap up to the top side. But I wanted to touch on Quid's death by greed first. That turret played so juicy, Hazael, that it cost him his life.
I mean, he took 2 tower shots. He took 2 tower shots there. Saint did a good job. As he walked up to hit that tower, Saint clears out the wave and stuns him under the turret, so the second tower shot comes through, and then Inspire's in the area. He's going to take that kill every time. TP back in, you're in trouble.
Oh no, Dokla TP's back in and may just immediately die right after. He's on top of an entire graveyard of feathers. That TP sucks.
Yeah, Yawn was ready for him. He's like, oh, great. Blade Caller on arrival. Chunks down the Anivia with no egg. They complete the tower dive, and TL are just running away with the early game.
Yeah, the wheels are falling off here fast for LYON in Game 3. They won Game 1, were really dominant. Game 2 did not go their way. And Game 3 definitely starting off not how they were hoping, as this was that initial play up on top side. Obviously, the Nocturne ult was going mid. And in comes Core, flash over the wall. There's not much you can do about that.
Once your egg gets procced outside of the turret range, that's rough.
I was watching your screen. sorry. Yeah, good play. You can TP.
For the playing against Nocturne is a very common strategy.
Just got a screen peek here a little bit.
Look at your teammates here. Get a little extra info. I was on the edge of my seat, actually. I thought that was going to be a LYON.
It's like, hold on, brother.
Like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, for people who aren't familiar with that trick, what he's talking about, because obviously Nocturne ult turns off your vision around your character, but in pro play, you're sitting beside your teammates. So you can look over at their screens and see where they are, which is something in solo queue you cannot do. So is what Jose is referring to there.
Unless you land with your buddies.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
A little land party.
You guys want to bring over the PC?
Queue up together.
Yeah.
We're going to try that, and we're still going to lose, LP.
Yeah. True. But we'll have fun doing it.
Exactly.
And
there's 3 of us. It's Flex QLP. Nobody really cares about that anyway. It's fine. We can take the -15 for an hour's worth of fun. That's okay.
We'll just queue with multiple jungle players. All good.
Yeah, no reason not to just have multiple junglers. All right, the Dragon is alive, though. And remember that Team Liquid has both neutral objectives so far. All 3 grubs alongside Drake #1. Drake #2 alive now at a time on the clock that is only slightly past when the first Drake was taken in the second game. So more attention paid early on to neutral objectives here in this third one. We're between the pace of games 1 and game 2 here in #3. Game 1 was definitely the most action-packed early. Game #2, definitely the least. Here in this one, somewhere between the two, as Saint, with that Proto Belt, can use it for a little bit of snappier trading against Quid, who does have his Rod of Ages recently completed, so we'll have that one hitting the 10-stack power spike in the early 20-minute marks on the clock. As you can see, quests starting to get completed. AD carry and mid quest completed on both sides, with the extra support quest done for TL.
Yeah, and Rogue just makes a lot of sense in a game like this where they are going to dive you, right?
Yeah.
You know, you are the best target. Xayah has Featherstorm. It's a lot easier for her to survive. So getting a little bit more HP, getting a little bit of tankiness here, I think makes a ton of sense.
And I would say there might be a play going for your head imminently, Quid, because they have your flash timer from last time, and they very well could just go for another Nocturne ult, you know, with the Hexblade completed, with the Proto Belt completed there for Saint. So definitely waiting a little bit, playing a little bit more cautiously since you are a prime target. Both junglers, though, on the top side of the map while the Dragon is spawned, both thinking the same thing.
Yep, they go after Dokla, but they don't find it. Now Inspired, ready here for the counterattack. Wants the fear onto Morgan, but the Jax gets back away, has to use his flash to do it. Morgan's hurting a little bit, but he will be able to take a recall and then use the teleport to return to his position here in the top side.
Okay, so they invest the Nocturne ultimate. Again, he has his Hexblade completed, so it's much lower cooldown for the ultimate, and he'll have it up pretty quickly, but no flash on Morgan or Dokla after that play. Spellbook exhaust is not really a big deal at all. That one being used as well, just to make sure there's no kill angle.
Yeah, Dokla played that pretty well, I think. You know, flashing out pretty quickly to react to that Sejuani ult, then walls off, so the Nocturne ult comes in, and you can actually force that flash. That was pretty well played, but a rare sight. Inspired is down about half a level, maybe even more than half a level to Jose here, and generally, you know, Inspired is always the one that is ahead of the pace of the game, and Nocturne is a good farmer, but Jose has been very effective, you know, already has 2 kills to his name, and has been keeping up his farm extremely well.
And that's even more impressive when you consider, again, we've mentioned it a lot throughout the draft so far today, big focus on the jungle pool from LYON, making sure they're keeping the Pantheons and the Lee Sins, and up until now, the Nocturnes away from Joseioto, as now that Dragon does get burned down. So Inspired and LYON do find the opportunity to take that one away when TL don't have a chance to respond.
Yeah, Victor a little bit too far away from that one. They were kind of hovering around the outside with the rest of the members, and now they're making a little movement on Saint.
Yeah, Saint in some danger. Abscond Abduct repositions him, using Joseioto as a bit of a slingshot to get himself away to safety.
Yep, gonna stay safe down on that bottom side. Did have Inspired behind him, who now has that Nocturne all back up and available. But Isles is going back to base. Inspired will go back to base. They will get vision of Inspired completing his recall, and definitely wants to get to level 11 before he uses that ult. You know, increase the range, reduce the cooldown, can make quite a difference here. But definitely feel like this is a pretty high pressure game here. You know, LYON really wanting to play for first place. They're really wanting to be ramping up for playoffs. And also trying to figure out what the roster is even going to be for playoffs. You made a roster change here with only a couple weeks left in that regular season. And yeah, you have this week, you have next week. Then we are in playoffs where every match is going to matter so much.
Yeah, and it comes at a cost as well. If clearly, as they're using both top laners now, you're also going to be splitting up your scrim time. Saint again under attack. Nice little jump though, gets him out very easily. Able to exit there. We're going to swap over with the teleporter on the other side.
Yeah, Morgan tries to get away with a leap strike, but Inspired is ready to follow there with the paranoia, has the fear with Saint and Dokla both right behind him. There's no way for Morgan to get away. So LYON's going to get their kill, but Team Liquid will claim first turret in the bottom lane.
Good punish on the flash that was blown with the last Nocturne ultimate. It's back up, so they go for it again. As you say though, Flowers, that's a good bonus of gold with the first turret bonus being added back in. So still extremely close here, and Quid goes back top with Core JJ to see if he can get an answer.
And it doesn't look like they should be able to find it. Silas pretty durable, but he will get stunned up on the gravity field. Grand entrance on top of the Arcane Storm. Jose Diodo has arrived, but the ulti doesn't find its target. Saint's got the flash. Jose Diodo still, though, with enough damage, secures the kill.
Just barely, because the Merc Tread's shield came back up as he was ticking down there. And I thought that magic shield might have been enough to keep him high enough above that to survive the ignite. But at the end of the day, it does get taken down, and that is a nice play there again from TL.
Spellbook is going crazy, guys. Oh my goodness. It's actually going so crazy, and that's going to mean Team Liquid grab another objective as well.
It's also worth noting, Dokla, we were talking about Anivia builds quite a bit over these last couple of weeks. You know, first it had been Roa Tier, then people moved to Roa Leandries, then people moved to Roa Malignants, and now we have Dokla here. He is back on that tier build. It is powerful, does give you a ton of mana, but it takes forever to get online, and you really don't start doing a lot of damage until you get a third item. Of course, it's possible he's just going to sit on the tier and get a Malignance, but if you do complete that Archangels, it's very defensive, but you're lacking a little bit of power, I feel like, in these team fights.
Yon on defense duty here for the tier 1 turret. Very edge of the Aqua Prison hits him, though, so Yon going to have to be pretty mindful of how much he wants to try to defend. Does clear out most of the minions. Berserker, one more auto attack, should be able to finish off the turret. Yon didn't have enough wave clear to keep it standing, but now the rest of Team Liquid has arrived for the punish. Berserker had the Valkyrie to get away, but Isles has no such thing. So kill number 5 going TL's way after LYON takes the second turret there in the mid lane.
Good little collapse from TL, but just losing to Nami for the tower, not the end of the world. They don't spend any summoners. They don't waste anything major. He doesn't even use his tidal wave, so it's not the biggest deal, and it's not, you know, lined up with a dragon or anything like that. So continuing to get some gold here on Berserker, which is important. You do now have the 3 lanes ahead in gold. It's very slightly, but ahead in gold for LYON. You know, Dokla, Saint, and Berserker all are that little bit ahead. It's just Jose now with the gold lead. So LYON has done a good job, I feel like, problem solving what was a pretty tough early game. And even down 3 kills here, they are in a pretty good spot.
And look at the CS gap between Dokla and Morgan, plus 40? That's crazy stuff.
I don't know if I'm like too strict of a parent, though, because I feel like you still deserve criticism since most of the gold for towers is split up into turret plates now. So the end of a tower isn't worth nearly as much as it used to be. So like dying for an end of a tower, to me it now is a no-no. And they literally saw Victor walk. He's got a cane, bro.
I hear
all
you.
the way from top lane.
I hear you, but have you considered Berserker loves money?
Well, hold on.
That's true.
Hold on. Berserker also loves staying alive. We just saw a big attempted engage there from Team Liquid. Jose Diodo throws out the ulti, forces the flash away from Isles, or he would have got caught again. This is also going to demand a TP response from Dokla to join up with the rest of the team. The wall does a good job stopping the Herald. Shelly just kind of...
She's raging out right now.
Yeah, she's a little tilted at that one. Berserker loses half HP there to a quick burst from Quid, who places down a gravity field to prevent LYON from being able to walk directly over towards the Drake itself. Jose Diodo still on that one, has it down to about 2,000 HP. Saint off to the side, dealing with Morgan here, as Team Liquid still thinking about if they want to take this fight. Saint with a stolen quickness, finds the charm onto the Jax. Morgan's got to try to be careful here, but over the wall goes Core JJ with a real quickness. He wants to keep his top laner alive. The counter-strike is still spinning. Saint drops to Morgan, and Team Liquid has found 1 kill for nothing so far. Dokla, Isles, and Berserker all grouped up together. Inspired versus Morgan in a 1v1 off on the right. Morgan's ready to try to turn it around here with a counter-strike. Morgan dies, but Inspired goes with him there in a 1-for-1. 2-for-1 overall here in the fight. Team Liquid still looking for a little bit more. Berserker wants to try to bait him into a bad spot. Yon's down to 300 HP. Quid is stuck inside the Glacial Storm, and Quid dies. A big wall from Big Dokes to make it an even fight so far. Jose Diodo with Yon and Core still trying to stand and make something happen here, but a beautiful Aqua Prison over the wall from Isles. TL finally gonna head home. What a scrap!
That was a crazy fight. I mean, Morgan was getting so much work done on the side for TL in this one. It's Morgan and Core versus the jungler and the mid laner from LYON, and they're the ones that were kind of winning out on this scrap.
And look at the re-engage. So Inspired is going to flash. Meanwhile, Saint E's back in. And so he dies there with the extra damage. Morgan then continues the chase. On live, we're getting more action, though.
Yeah, we've got Jose Diodo and Morgan trying to make the play on Dokla with a TP about to arrive from the LYON side. It's Team Liquid who decides they're going to send even more men. Yes, there's the egg for Dokla, but the egg doesn't matter when you die in a spot that you can't actually save it afterwards. So Dokla's going to lose the passive for free. 1 TP for 1 TP committed, and LYON loses their top laner.
Yeah, I think there was even the double TP from TL because Morgan TP'd behind him and then Quid TP's in to reinforce late. So they send a lot of members there. They do kill off Dokla, who we didn't get to see the tail end of that team fight in the replay, but he was playing great with those walls. You know, first he catches off Quid, then, you know, he's walling off Jose. Was positioning well, and Berserker, even though he got chunked at the start, they're going to look for a dive.
Yeah, now Morgan in danger yet again, not respecting Inspired's Nocturne, and gets picked off in the side lane for it. Saint's the one taking the kill, now has the most of anyone on LYON at 3, 2, and 1 here with the Silas.
Yeah. Banger series here, game number 3, and we are going blow for blow. Now Nocturne, of course, no ultimate, and Jose does have his nice little spell shield.
Yep. Over the wall, Jose was ready, but LYON was also ready with the response. Good job there from Inspired, as another plate is going to be burned off of the Tier 1 turret there, thanks to the Void Grub burn, whatever it's called. I don't remember exactly the name of the thing, but that means a little bit of extra money in Team Liquid pockets, and every bit of money counts. This game has been less than 1,000 gold apart the whole time, and now Berserker's about to get knocked down. Nice engage from Core, nice follow-up from LYON.
Yeah, that was really well done. Quid just comes in from the side, pushes him back, and with the Valk forced, you can't miss. And now they're just going to start the Baron here. They know Berserker, one of the strongest members, is gone. LYON need to try to defend this. They have no ult on Inspired either, and no flash.
But Morgan is making his way over. The Jax ready to join up with the rest of the team. Core JJ trying to hold this defensive position here in the brush as the rest of Team Liquid continues DPSing the Baron. They've got it down to about 5,000 HP. Keep your eyes on Inspired, looking to enter into the fight. Paranoia's already going to get dropped. Inspired looking for his angle, seeing if now's the time to jump in, and he finally goes. But Inspired's going to be targeting. LYON goes up into the Featherstorm, but he is dead. Saint finds the kill. Inspired and Saint looking to finish off the Baron, but Jose Diodo's ready to contest it. It's a smite fight in the pit. A double kill back over to Saint, and the Baron goes to LYON. The fight goes to LYON. A triple kill for Saint on the Silas, stepping up when they need him most. Quadra kill for Saint as Jose Diodo heads into the enemy jungle. He is the only man standing in Team Liquid colors, and LYON just found the exact fight they needed.
And look at Berserker, he's just pushing mid lane. They're gonna get so much off this. That engage from Saint and Inspired was sick on Daejeon. He couldn't react, didn't get his Featherstorm off until he was already 10% HP, and by then it was too late.
Incredibly clutch right there. Inspired pops Nocturne ultimate, and he just holds it and waits. As you see, they chase down the Sejuani anyway. Jose's death timer will be desynced as well. Inspired collects that one. Okay, I love when Nocturnes do this and they use the entire timer for the ultimate. Watch how long he waits. They have vision because they still have the ward in the back of Baron Pit.
Watch Saint though. They don't have vision on him. Ult flash over the wall. He absconds over the wall, then ult flash with the stolen Sejuani ult onto LYON, point blank, couldn't react, catches him out, and they burst him down.
It's perfect timing between the two of them. They take him out, and then here you go. This is what all junglers live for, the clutch smite fight. He's able to get it. Inspire gets it on top of already having the advantage in the fight. So, you know, Saints be able to chase them out.
Yo!
LYON happy after that one for sure.
Rain over, very happy. I mean, the game is just so tense.
Yeah, I mean, that was, I saw 1386, I think, and that's a 1400 smite.
Yeah.
So that is about as perfect gets in a real game of League. So Inspired clutching up, but really this game has been about Saint, his individual performances.
Yep.
And that was a big time play. Utilizing the Nocturne ult, LYON can't see you coming, ult flash with a stolen Sejuani ult that he got vision on by queuing over the wall earlier in the fight to steal. That is big time plays.
And because it's Nocturne, even once the Sejuani CC wears off and he goes up into the Featherstorm, he's feared as he lands. His feet touch the ground and he's still CC'd despite being untargetable before it. The chain just worked out perfectly for LYON.
And the timing between the two of them is perfect. Immediately collapsing, chaining. I mean, The synergy seems to be back.
And now the reward there for LYON, it's not just the fact that they got the Baron, it's the fact that you can look in the inventory. Seeker's Arm Guard available for Dokla, full Hourglass available for Saint, huge playmaking tools, huge team fight tools available for these guys. Lord Dominic's Regards fully completed for Berserker, who's just going to tear through health bars on this Corki. Jose Diodo tries to find the Glacial Prison, but ultimately ends up not hitting a target, and LYON just continues their siege.
Yeah, and I mean, Isles has the Mikhails ready to go. Obviously, rushing mandate, but the Mikhails is done, so that's going to be an easy answer. If it is just that Sejuani ult starting things off, you can see Bloodletter's Curse has been done for Saint. That's going to be really nice for both Dokla and him. And now TL up against it here in Game 3 of this pivotal series. TL trying to stay undefeated for their matchup against Cloud9 next week, who is 6-0, and LYON trying to take them down, because if they lose here, they are locked out of getting first place. They lost their first series of the split against Cloud9 and have just been cruising ever since then.
APA directly asked Team Liquid, please, can you meet us at 6-0 next weekend? And right now, LYON are trying to make that impossible.
Yeah, and they're doing a pretty good job at it. Like I was saying before that fateful Baron fight, this entire game was 1,000 gold or less apart for the entire time. And now we've got a 5,500 gold lead for LYON. Dragons are tied 2-2, so it's not like TL can try to find a big soul fight to come back to mostly parity. It's going to be very difficult for TL to fight their way back from this position. As you can see, LYON just owns the entire map. Morgan is split pushing in bottom lane right now, trying to get something, but LYON has total possession over the TL jungle.
It's so much more fun to me when the games come down to clutch late game moments like that. See if they can use it to finish it out with the lead that they have garnered from it. Still a long way to go.
And this is the total damage for the game. You see Quid is getting a lot done, but Jan has been struggling a little bit more to kind of get involved in these fights. They have been doing a good job putting pressure on him. And I think it's going to be so much about, can LYON continue to put that pressure onto Jan? He is very strong at this point, has 3 super powerful items. If you can't get an engage like that onto him, he could run over you in a team fight.
And I want to shout out Big Dokes as well from the other side there on LYON. Him doing tremendous amounts of damage, and look, he's level 18 with the rod ticking over. Obviously, the rod's going to help you out with the level advantage, but having a 3-level advantage, however you get it, feels really good. And he's got a Zhonya's, as well as I believe the egg passive is back up. So you've got Flash. You can create so many plays, and Dokla really has had, a very big impact in both the games, especially with all the extra eyes and scrutiny on him. Sometimes, people are always wondering, are you going to crumble under more pressure of having someone behind you? Is this going to throw off your mentality or your focus in the game? Or are you going to rise to the occasion?
Pressure creates both diamonds and rubble, gentlemen. It's up to you which one you become. And Dokla right now is shining bright. 1,500 individual gold lead, level 18 in a game where the enemy support is level 10. He's feeling powerful right now, and Morgan might just be the target. Saint and Dokla both moving around down this bottom lane, but they don't know where everybody else on TL is, so they think better of it. And it's a good thing they did, because TL was ready to cover for their top laner. Baron is about to respawn on the map right now. Next Dragon will be alive in 45 seconds as Inspired and LYON head up towards that topside river.
Yeah, Berserker has gold for the crit cloak, so he just needs gold for the combine. I don't think he's going to get it before this next dragon fight, but that Infinity Edge, when it comes in for Corki, that is when this champion can just delete you, and they're having this Baron just being sold up by Inspired right now.
All right, Inspired is going to take a decent chunk of his HP, but he does have the super-powered apples to eat to regenerate about half
Baron's
of that.
got hands, okay.
Yep.
Respect.
He's actually got like 6 of them. There's a whole bunch of nasty little purple hands
No
coming up out of
fair.
the ground. Yeah, it's too many.
That's why you got to bring teammates to that fight. But let's take a look at this flank.
Okay, Saint with a stolen Rakan ulti tries to go over the wall, finds the engage, but it's only on to Jose Diodo, who does take a chunk, but he still keeps himself alive for now. Saint being healed up by Isles, but it's Team Liquid with control over the bot side river.
That Glacial Prison from Jose, I'm not sure if that was just a disengaged one or if he actually saw him coming, but that was instantly as Saint flashed on him. He got Sedge ulted, and just that engage got stuffed.
Now Inspired trying to step up, contest for this next Drake. Remember, it's not sold for
Morgan.
either team. But now, Saint on the flank, arrived into the fight. Inspired's got to be careful here. Jose Diodo over the wall, but Inspired is still standing. Jose is already down. Lion is finding a hell of a fight so far as Morgan's got to try to keep himself alive here with the counter-strike, but the Arcane Storm is still ticking. Dokla gets the kill into Morgan, and now there's the extra one onto Quid. Saint is dominating as Yon and Core JJ run straight into the enemy jungle. They're the only two left on Team Liquid, and Saint does not want any survivors in this one. Core and Yon still trying to get away, but Berserker's got full HP. He's got the Valk. Yon and Core are still just running. Meanwhile, Dokla is in the enemy base. The whole goal for the rest of Lion is don't let these guys back. Yon and Core trying to get away, but they're just being held captive in the enemy jungle. Saint continues trying to find the abducts.
Here's
grab
the
one of the kills. Berserker continuing to look for Yon here, but it's Inspired who arrives. Goes after the enemy carry, has to immediately back off as Yon defensively ults. Core JJ, however, will not be so lucky. He dies again with another massively desynced timer from the rest of his team.
I'm too good, man. I'm too good.
He is, man. Did you see him in that fight? Again, with the arm guard, with the flash, with the egg at his disposal. He creates so much space. And then as they were trying to retreat mid lane, he hits the wall. He does not let Morgan escape. They get that kill. They get the other kill. I mean, it was actually so much space.
Yeah, it was. And at the beginning of that fight, Morgan just leap strikes into the back, and I thought this was going to be a good fight for TL because look at Morgan. He's just in the middle of their team, but all of them pull back. He walls off some of the carries. Jose and Morgan do go in with Core, but Berserker, Isles, Inspired, they all pull back, and they just knock him down, and then this is Dokla on the side like you're talking about.
Yep, he puts up the wall. He doesn't let them escape. He used his ultimate both times very well to be able to zone right there, slow them down. Uses the flash, upgrades his arm guard into the Zonias, got another use of it now. And Lion have increased the gold lead, but more importantly, with the Baron buff, that lets them siege the base way more effectively.
And now we've got Guardian Angel on Inspired, as well as those two fully upgraded Hourglasses for the AP solo laners, as well as the Mikhails there for Isles. It's so hard to find a play to punish these guys from the Team Liquid side.
And the IE that we were talking about, nearly a void staff for Dokla, they just got so much gold. They're already up 9,000 gold, plus they are on soul point here. They don't even have to rush because they are playing incredibly well in these fights. And Berserker, it just feels like he is having a field day. They're not able to put any pressure on him. The rest of the Lion members are creating so much space for this Corki, who is now ridiculously strong at this point of the game.
All right, TL, time to lock in and defend because it's a free lane push coming out from Lion. Saint putting the pressure on the inhibitor here in mid. Top lane tier 3 Turbid is still standing with about half HP. Bottom lane, Morgan tries to clear the waves. As Inspired is pushing down here, he's always ready to ult in to join if there's a fight in one of the other two locations. Morgan, of course, will not be able to reach the fight as quickly. Saint goes in, stolen Rakan ulti, but no value to be found. Morgan is far back enough that he doesn't get caught by this attempt from Lion.
Yeah, Morgan playing it pretty safe there. A bit of an ambitious attempt. I mean, had the Abscond Abduct connected, then the Rakan ult does something, and maybe you can actually chain down Morgan, but he has a Seekers. Just kind of lacking damage, though. He's down 3.6k gold to Dokla, so has fallen very far behind, and Saint just completed Death Cap. It just feels like keeps getting worse and worse here for TL, but their carries are still strong. Yon's on 4 fully completed items, and Quid is working towards his 4th item here. Wants to get that Death Cap online, but still very far away from it.
I'm struggling to see the world where without a major blunder from Lion, TL can win a fight.
I think the world is an overdive from Lion, right? Where they send it and, you know, you go full in onto Yon and he gets that Featherstorm off early. All of a sudden the counter engage comes through. That is the world I think it has to happen in, but Lion are playing these team fights out so well. They're not overcommitting. They're not just throwing themselves into the meat grinder because with this gold lead, they don't actually need to dive anymore. They can just hit whatever's in front of them.
Yeah, and they've got a level 20 bird that you have to get through. Like the walls are so frustrating to actually get your good battle lines. So
yeah.
See what they can actually pull off. Side lanes become a lot more difficult now. Guardian Angel is done here for Inspired, so Inspired can also, you know, full send behind Saint if Saint is pushing here. This Silas has been massive all game, and he's full 10 stacks with his Death Cap was completed here. It's full build Silas in side lane, who's already dangerous. If you add the Nocturne ultimate on top of that, it's for TL, it's like, how do we ever like really get out of our base, out of our towers? It's so dangerous. And so the map is completely dark for them. It's very dangerous. And you know LYON are just waiting to pounce.
Yeah, I mean, it's always so interesting because, you know, when you think of Anivia wall, you think of it as a catch tool, but in fights later on into the game, you can just wall out the carries, right? Like, you don't need to actually use that aggressively. You can just wall out YON.
Oh, over the wall. Saint just chunks Core JJ by 75% HP. You could see him waiting there inside that red buff pit, seeing if he could find anybody on Team Liquid, and that was nearly a one-shot.
That is terrifying stuff, Core. Yeah, just about got deleted.
How do you even approach this Dragon Soul fight? I mean, they have
that
one ward. That ward is helping, but even though you can see their positions moving, it's so crazy to get in.
Ozidioto jumps in, Glacial Prison there on the Dokla. Stolen Prison fired right back towards YON. Not a lot of value out of either one, and that might just seal the deal. Morgan goes in for a flanking teleport, but everybody on LYON is just waiting as he arrives. Morgan is instantly killed, and now it's a 5v4 for the next 50 seconds. LYON's going to start it off by taking the Infernal Soul for free, and you have to think they just walk it down the lanes from there.
Just so well played there by LYON. You know, they're completely choking TL out vision-wise. Jose tries to force an engage. Nocturne just turns off the lights to say, you can't follow up on this because you do not know where we are. But Morgan had already teleported, dies without even being able to get the Zhonya's off, and TL after that, no, there is no shot at contest. So their hope now becomes delay, delay, delay. Hope you can maybe make a miracle happen later, steal away an Elder, but LYON are clearly not going to flip. They are looking for the 100% chance.
Yeah, they're putting so much pressure on TL to make the move and be the ones that are going to cause the first error here. Now it's kind of like a lot of these style plays where you're grouping up in a little small, like commando style, sneak through the brush. Maybe we could do a surprise brush play or something on somebody. But even rolling the dice there, not able to find anything. And so LYON will have another very easy setup this time for Baron. It was already hard to approach the Soul. Now trying to approach a Baron when they have the extra infernal damage on top of it seems like a very, very tall task.
Observers highlighted the ward up there placed by Team Liquid in that top lane side brush, but unfortunately for TL, even if they want to teleport someone up there to make some crazy flank, Morgan just used his TP. The only one that could possibly do it is Quid. Flanking Victor is not normally a winning gambit, I would have to think. So TL, they are just going to go ahead and use that teleport from Quid to bring him back into the mid lane, but LYON has already started up the Baron. TL, they're thinking about the approach. They're staring down the barrel of an 11,000 gold deficit of an enemy team that already has the Infernal Soul. LYON, again, just playing it so safe, so slow, so methodical, taking zero risks as Team Liquid feels forced to make something happen here. Morgan with the counter strike, goes in after Berserker, finds a stun, but it's not going to turn into a whole lot of anything for him as TL can't find any of the kills. YON has already used the ultimate here with the Xayah, but he turns back around and Saint is shut down. Inspired's going to be knocked into the Guardian Angel just yet as Team Liquid found the angle they needed after all this time. Dokla buys himself a moment here with the stasis. TL forced back for now. Berserker grabs the kill into Quid. Dokla's egg still alive. The shutdown onto Inspired comes through for YON. The resurrection for Dokla. He gets alive and he gets away, but no, he's finally taken down. A triple kill back over to Berserker on the Corki. It's YON versus Isles and Berserker. YON steps forward. Berserker and Isles. They get it done right when Team Liquid looked like they had a shot. Berserker guns him down. Ace for LYON.
Penta kill for Berserker, and LYON are gonna take it.
Oh my God, what an ending. Berserker went crazy in that fight after Saint got shut down. A pentakill, a clean ace, and they are taking this series.
Team Liquid undefeated for 5 weeks of regular season. It was a battle all the way down to the wire here in this 40-minute game number 3, but LYON will triumph 2-1.
Oh my goodness. They had to use everything too. The Zhonya's on Saint, then the Guardian Angel on Inspired, then Dokla goes into the front line. He uses his Zhonya's, uses the egg, all to create all of this space, and Berserker gets them all.